Welcome in to a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. We appreciate you starting your day, your week here with us on the Jordy Culotta Show, a part of FM Digital Media. We will talk to Kim Mulkey coming up here at 7:30 this morning as Coach Mulkey and the crew improved to 18-4 on the season yesterday after defeating Kentucky in front of 8,700 people in the Maravich Center. We'll talk to Coach Mulkey as she comes down the stretch here of February and gets set for a postseason in her first year at LSU. We'll talk to her about yesterday's win. We'll also talk to Billy Embody. It was a huge recruiting weekend on campus. If you kept up with some of the social media, Harold Perkins was putting it all out there. You got to hear a little bit of Frank Wilson's pitch inside Tiger Stadium.
That was cool.
See, I didn't hear any of this. What was it like? Was it exactly what you think it was?
So Perkins is live on his Instagram, and he's kind of 360-degree view of
Taking
Tiger Stadium from the playing field, and you can hear Wilson behind him talking,
hyping him up.
Yeah, just and this is where the magic happens, baby. This is where it goes down. This is where we turn up.
A little bit different than Coach O's. You go practice here, win championships. No, fuck that. We win it here.
Yeah,
We're going to do it on the field.
We're going to talk to Embody about the recruiting weekend coming up here as LSU is all over the place. It looks like they are in contention for both Jacoby Matthews and Harold Perkins and possibly some other guys, as we'll talk to Billy Embody coming up here. And a huge recruiting weekend for LSU basketball as they pick up another 5-star on Sunday. We'll talk to Embody about Brayara Traore
from the Clouds
out of Phoenix City, out west, a 5-star center with Julian Phillips already in the class. You pick up Traore. We'll talk to Embody about that coming up, but we will start and we will dominate the conversation, obviously, with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals going to the Super Bowl in year 2. Joey's first full season as an NFL quarterback. He has got Cincinnati back in the Super Bowl.
34 years.
It is unreal. That game was amazing. We watched it over here. Lloyd, Jay Stu, the crew, everybody over here did a phenomenal job. Shout out to Iversteins for hooking us up all weekend, Saturday morning for LSU basketball, and yesterday for NFC and AFC championship games.
Bunch of meat.
Rams.
Bunch of meat.
Still left over.
Yeah, dude.
Little morning meat if you want
it. Good morning. Happy Monday. Sunday turns into Monday sometimes, dude.
All day. But there's a ton to get to, man. Daily, we are powered by Go Chevrolet. Check out our crew online at GEAUXChevrolet.com to get in touch with Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the entire team over there. They've got a great selection of used cars on the corner of Sherwood Forest and Florida Boulevard at Go Express Auto Sales. Our water is daily brought to you by True Blue Water. Get on the delivery route today by going online to trubluewater.com. And our phone lines are brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Our friends Charles Harvey and Jason Ramazan over there. Get in touch with them at Metropolitan Health Group as they bring you our phone line today. Kim Mulkey, 7:30. Billy Embody, 8:15, as we will talk here on this Monday. But yesterday in Arrowhead, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals down Mahomes and Kansas City for the second time in a month, which I don't think that we can underestimate how difficult it is to defeat one team multiple times within the same season. But to do it to Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City within the same month, like Burrow and the Bengals have done, now to stamp their ticket. They did it first to stamp their ticket of the AFC North, and then they did it to get it into the Super Bowl with Cincinnati. Has to be a part of the storyline when you look back on it and tell this story of Cincinnati making the Super Bowl run that you can't leave out. Because, I mean, what Burrow has accomplished and what he is doing, in front of our face is just, it is amazing to think about. I mean, the further you get away from that LSU run, how evident is it that it was all number 9? I mean,
Zach Taylor needs to get it to the table now.
Yes.
And get his extension now, because that is how many other people can Joe Burrow help? He's getting everybody paid. Zach Taylor was on the brink of being fired 2 years into this deal, and then he gets Joe Burrow, and he turns it around in 2 years. And not only are they a winning franchise, this is something that Cincinnati, the city, seems like it's been dying for.
I know.
And to have Joe Burrow do it, a hometown kid, but he's ours. But y'all can have him for the next 10, I guess. We got him for 2.
Did you see some? He was asked about Ohio State's
I didn't know if that. I think he might have been fooled by the internet. Yeah, I didn't want to.
Get me out of here. Reverse.
How did y'all feel when they trailed 21-3 in the first half?
Joey,
I feel like so many people were like, "It's over.
No,
it's over."
I did think that, like, defensively, I was like, they're in some big trouble today because they looked so lost.
Yeah,
like the motions and everything pre-snap were freaking them out. Like they were like.
A step behind.
They just looked like they were lost. And if you're guessing against Mahomes,
Tyreek Hill,
he's gonna burn you all day. I mean, he's gonna crush you against Kelsey with Kelsey and Hill and all these guys.
Hill, amazing.
It's unbelievable they won.
But the in-game adjustments that Cincinnati made, I think you have to look. I mean, they obviously started to blitz Mahomes and started not to blitz him, but started to rush him
differently
to contain him. Right, to keep him in the pocket, because Mahomes has this, it has this like Jamarcus Russell quality to him, where you're like, if he gets out of the pocket,
you're dead.
He's gonna make a play. He's gonna kill you.
Because the whole field's open.
Everything's
still in play.
Everything's in play, and you can't guard for that long against the guys that they have. Right? I mean, you can't guard these guys one-on-one for so long if he gets out of the pocket, and if you contain him and take away his ability to run. He doesn't become pedestrian by any means, but he becomes
guardable.
Absolutely. He becomes defendable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, you can go at him in different ways, and if you've got a defensive backfield that can keep up, and that was really the story. I mean, a lot of that was coverage that was making him hold on to the ball so long, and the way that he was, running around. And I mean, that fourth quarter regulation drive where they're in scoring territory and a touchdown, it's over, and Cincinnati holds there and knocks him 30 yards back on that third down run, on that third down play. You could tell he was like,
shook.
I don't really know what I'm looking at.
It's almost like he doesn't. It's not like he doesn't trust the play call, but the play call in the huddle is not what they're going to run. He's waiting for like something else to happen. He's waiting to improvise almost. Like, you see what he's doing in the pocket. He's turning around completely backwards, facing the wrong way, and then turns around again. And watching him and clearly rooting for the Bengals the way that we were, not only like for gambling wise, sorry, Jordy, but just because we're rooting for Joe Burrow, obviously. Yeah. Like, there's a twinkle in our eye when we talk about him. But you saw like the way that Patrick Mahomes, when he gets out the pocket, it's just every moment is, oh my God, he's about to score.
No
every
doubt.
play.
Absolutely.
And it got to the point.
It feels like a video game.
And you're just getting nervous, like, oh God, this is lasting way too long.
Yeah.
But when they got to the red zone, you were like, you might as well just let the Chiefs score because they're going to score anyway. And then the Bengals didn't do that. They held firm and trusted their defense, and they did it both times, at the end of the first half and at the end of regulation, to where, I mean, those are massive stops to be able to get the Bengals to the Super Bowl. Without those plays, they're not in.
I thought a couple of storylines in the second half are really going to prevail in the AFC Championship game. One is Joey's legs, the ability for him to pick up first downs and big plays and make big plays with his feet, the way that he did in college a couple of times. It surprised a couple of people, but yesterday, again, a couple of huge third down pickups. I mean, when he steps out of the grasp of is that Chandler Jones, or no, it's Chris Jones, the
defensive tackle.
The defensive tackle.
It's like eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah, and he's high stepping out of the grasp of his reach. And gets up and gives the first down, the Burrow first down. At that point, I was like, they're gonna win. They're gonna win. And another thing and Los Angeles, by the way, is going to the Super Bowl on the other side. They won the NFC Championship
game.
Remember
that next game?
The Rams beat the San Francisco 49ers, and you could see the demons that Sean McVay was exercising within that game. I mean, we were talking about, he was 0-6 versus Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, 0-2 going into that game this year with a brutal Week 18 regular season loss versus the 49ers that nearly cost them seeding.
Weren't they up like 17-0? We were watching a little bit of the rewatch on the NFL Network.
Where we fell in love for Jimmy G.
Yes. Not your guy. Can't
Greek.
claim him. He's Greek.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he's Greek.
Get off the boat.
This is your stop, Jimmy.
Did you think he was Italian for a while?
I was claiming him for a month.
Trying to get him to the family dinner on Sunday.
Had a well-known Italian from the area call me like last Monday and was like, You know Jimmy G's Greek, right?
He's not our guy.
Get the bleep out of here. It's all those vowels in that last name.
The way he looks, the skin.
Salt and pepper with the light eyes.
That's Greek, right? That's pretty Greek.
It's gotta be our
Deacon
guy,
knows.
right?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
You could have said something.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Geez.
I didn't know
trust you
you
blindly
thought
on the Italian
he was
stuff.
Italian.
And a poster up in the
I
guy
thought you
for a
just
month.
liked him.
The Stallion Weekly.
Just because it ends with an O.
Lord.
Oh, goodness.
An A.
Not a guy.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he might not get a
Vowels
contract.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Might end up in New
A
Orleans.
lot of vowels,
Might end
yeah.
up in New Orleans.
But LA's going on the other side. 6 LSU Tigers going to be playing in the Super Bowl. 4 for Cincinnati. By the way, the moment of Shelvin hoisting
That was so
Burrow
cool.
off the field, second time that's happened in both of their lives, is Shelvin carried Joe off the field in Tuscaloosa in 2019, carries him off the Arrowhead playing surface in 2022 to go to the Super Bowl.
Picture's ridiculous.
I feel like we need to
It's
get that painted on the wall at
unbelievable.
this
Yeah,
point,
that
right?
is almost a,
Yeah.
it is a mural.
Make some room for old T-shelf on the wall, though. Big boy.
I know, right?
Burrow doing more for the social media lovers than anybody out there, keeping Jackson Mahomes out of the Super Bowl.
Oh, thank God.
Jeez.
Give me Burrow
That kid.
instead every time.
How horrible of a human is that guy?
I don't
He
know.
really
He's not
is.
doing great.
No one likes him.
No, and it looks like Mahomes' old lady is getting some backlash.
No one likes her either. No
Because
one
she's
wants
best
to
friends
see-
with him.
I know. They're this odd pair. Nobody wants to see anything else out of
Look at
them.
him just sitting on
What
his
a great-
shoulder.
what a great
He's like a
picture.
child.
That's really
He's
cool.
got a little baby.
It's like a child. He's just sitting
He
there.
does. I mean,
Look at with his fingers interlaced. Like
Looks like he's going to Mardi Gras.
He's like 6'4", 230.
that's amazing.
Pick me up. Look how happy Shelvin is in these. He loves it.
That's
Couldn't be
so
happier.
cute.
Shelvin, not the game for him, but he was out there, man, running around.
Yeah.
He
Running
ran
He's
in-
active.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes just ran into him twice. He's like, "Oh, you're still here." He's like, "Oh, thank you. Thanks for stopping by."
He was out there.
But
Unbelievable weekend, dude.
it was
so much fun.
an incredible sports weekend. It was fun to show off the noodle in the watch room up there
Yeah.
as it continues to come together. Stewie, Lloyd, the crew, Noah did phenomenal work the entire weekend. Saturday morning, we had Malik Neighbors up there, LSU wide receiver, who was giving really good insight
What?
to the recruiting weekend. We're gonna meet as a crew over here, get these watch parties right. We're still kind of finding our way.
There's
Still,
a couple avenues that we can do
right?
this. You know?
Don't know if we're going Manning cast, hang out, what it's gonna be. Maybe it's room for both.
Room for both.
But
Either way, they're a good time.
it was
Great
a great
content.
weekend. LSU basketball falls to TCU on Saturday morning. That was a bummer.
Yeah.
As that was a little bit of a surprise, the way that I think getting Pinson and Days back on Saturday was a little bit of a shock to the system of the team that had been playing for the last month. Really, Eric Gaines, I thought, looked really comfortable out there, but nobody could really find their way and get going on Saturday morning. They'll look to try and turn it around Tuesday night versus Ole Miss. It'll be another late kickoff for tip-off for LSU basketball. It'll be an 8 o'clock tip-off versus the Rebels. But if you were bummed out about the loss on Saturday, you had that taste washed out of your mouth by Will Wade scooping up another 5-star. This time, he goes out west and he gets Johan Traora, who is a 6'11", 230-pound power forward center. He's the number 5 overall center in the country and the number 1 overall player in Arizona. Commits to LSU yesterday.
That's strong.
Says he is 100% committed to LSU basketball. Let's get it. Traora chose LSU over offers like Kansas, Louisville, Gonzaga, Michigan, UCLA, and many other schools.
That list is strong.
That is
is.
strong.
The list is strong.
Did you see his highlights?
No, I haven't because we were.
I mean-
but everybody was watching him during the watch party. They're like, "Oh, ooh,
Yes.
ooh!" It's like this looks like a 5-star.
And I don't mean to jump ahead, and we're going to get back to Burrow, the Bengals, and Chase, and everybody getting to the Super Bowl here. They're going out to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Back-to-back seasons, the home team's going to be in the Super Bowl, which is crazy. It had never happened for 55 years, and now it happens in 2 years in a row as
As
Tampa
soon as
hosts
gamblers legalized, it's very weird.
last year, and now the Rams are hosting at SoFi this year against Cincinnati. But LSU basketball and Traora another 5-star to go alongside of Marvell Allen, who looks like he's going to be reclassified as the number 1 point guard in the state of Florida. Julian Phillips, the number 1 player in the state of Florida, a McDonald's All-American who was announced last week. And I don't mean to jump ahead because I really am looking forward to what happens the rest of this season. I am. I think that LSU does have potential to get guys back and get it figured out from a health standpoint, really kind of catch their rhythm, and they might catch it at the right time, and it could be late February, early March, mid-March where they kind of get it going, and, who knows? They're a tough matchup if everything is moving and everything is right. Sharif O'Neal is healthy, and Darius Days is healthy, and Xavier Pinson's not playing with what looks like a robotic leg.
The knee brace he had on that.
How do you play basketball with that thing on?
I don't know. He tried to give it a go.
Guy looked like a left tackle out there.
Just needed 2 braces, dude. Just
what was
around
that?
the court. That wasn't shoes. That was his knee
but
brace.
But as soon as like a metal leg.
It's like a machine.
But as soon as he can shed the brace and get feeling right both mentally and physically, and you get everybody on the same page, I think that LSU potentially could make a run this season. I really do. I think that, Elite 8 would be maybe the ceiling. Maybe you get in there and you can beat somebody if you start making some shots. But I think that LSU has a really good team that is a tough out when they're fully right and they get moving. I thought Saturday, look, I'm not making excuses, and I know people think that I come here and make excuses for LSU's losses because they got to get it right. The time is crunching on LSU, and their seed is dropping from postseason outlook standpoint. And they gotta move on that. But they still have time to get people healthy, get back in rhythm, and find their footing going into March. And I think if they do, there's not a lot of teams that are going to want to match up with LSU if they're fully healthy. And you got guys like Fudge and O'Neal coming off the bench, crashing the glass, and Days is hitting shots, and Pinson's feeling right, and Eric Gaines is building the confidence that he has. But if you want to look ahead and look at next year, at what this roster potentially could look like with what LSU is and where they are right now and what they're doing in recruiting. I don't care how much they hate Will Wade. I don't care how much there's a bias against Will Wade out there and trying to keep him out of the spotlight. But if they have Traore, which he's 100% committed according to his social media, you've got Julian Phillips, who's a McDonald's All-American, who's already signed to the class. Wade can speak about him publicly. He's already got his letter of intent. You get the commitment from Marvell Allen a couple of weeks back, who's the number 1 point guard in the state of Florida. And then you pair those guys in that class alongside a year in with Mwani Wilkinson, a year in with Justice Williams, a year in with Efton Reed, a year in with Brandon Murray, a year in with Alex Fudge, another year of experience for Eric Gaines. They may have some guys that hit the transfer portal. They may have some guys that make some moves in the offseason. Adam Miller's going to be coming back to this lineup. I don't care how much you hate Will Wade nationally. I don't care how much you disrespect him and what he's doing. There's no way you can look at that team on paper and not say that that's a top 10 team going into the year. The way that he is recruited and looking at the facilities that he's recruiting against and some of the names and teams that he's beating for these guys is amazing. Don't really wonder out loud why he's on Louisville's short list. That's why. That's why teams want him. That's why there's an interest around him, is because he can recruit. That's it. He gets players. And that is more than 3/4 of the battle. You can figure the coaching stuff out. You can hire people to coach. You can get guys next to you to draw plays up. Not everybody can recruit at the level that Will Wade is recruiting at. And save the jokes. Because if you think that he's doing anything now with what he's had to deal with and what the investigation has brought on, you're crazy. He's selling these guys on where they fit in and relationships. And he's better than everybody else at it. Or he's just as good as the great ones. and athletic directors are paying attention to that, because that's all this really is about getting players. What was Brian Kelly's first move when he was hired at LSU? Get Frank Wilson. Why? Because Frank Wilson gets you players. And that's what Will Wade is doing. They better extend him. They better pay him, man.
Why wouldn't they?
I don't know.
I mean, are there people saying that they're not going to?
No, I don't think that there is anybody officially out there saying they're not going to, but their actions are telling you that they're not going to. They're dragging their feet on this thing. I mean,
how many years does he have left on his deal?
2 this year and another one.
I mean, just do it now.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Like, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I know expectations have been heightened around LSU basketball this year because of how hot they started and 15-1, 15-2 or what have it. But I mean, people are kind of tempering, and there's always the, why do you want Will Wade, fire Will Wade crowd that happens after every loss, because that's what LSU fans do. But you can't look at where basketball was before in Baton Rouge before Will Wade got here. It was non-existent.
Right.
Like, even that is grounds for an extension and a raise.
Yeah.
But if he's going to keep bringing in 5-stars like this and make basketball relevant, like, you're going to have to put some money aside to make this thing grow, because LSU, while it's a football school, he's vying for competition to make it a basketball school. And you keep bringing in 5-stars like this, you go to the tournament every year you've been here, like, people are going to take notice and people are going to want to go to games. And if it starts making money the way that it is, then pay the man.
What do you mean? I mean, go to the arena. They're
Right.
there.
They're there.
People are going. They're buying tickets. Jeff Marsan says, bad take. Efton Reed, bad. Look, I know that people are dumping on Efton Reed right now, and it's easy to do. It's a freshman going through freshman struggles. This is what happens in college basketball. This is what happens to guys that aren't ready to go to the league. When you think of somebody that's going to be a one-and-done type player, or somebody that comes in with all this hype like Reed did. Because we've talked about, Reed has been the most dominant player on the floor everywhere he's been. Everywhere. When he was in high school in Virginia, when he was at IMG Academy, there was nobody that could check him. There was nobody that could really humble him. Maybe a couple of nights he went out there and he was a little off, and somebody may have, was motivated to guard a guy of his caliber and went out and had a good game against him. But for extended stretches, Efton Reed has never struggled like he's going through. And I truly believe for Efton Reed, for his individual development, this is a good deal. This is a good time for him. This is good stuff is going to come from where he is struggling right now. But for LSU, I think you're realizing that this guy is not a one and done. There's some things that he needs to work on. He needs to get a lot stronger. He gets shoved around and pushed around from a standpoint that I don't think that he ever has been guarded like this, as physically as people check him now in the SEC. So he has to realize, if I need to take my game to the next level and I think I'm a pro, well, I mean, I got to get stronger. I got to learn to play against competition that's bigger and stronger than me. I got to develop some type of offensive game. I got to learn how to control my body and be disciplined and not get into foul trouble. Are some of the fouls against him bad calls? Yeah, but, I mean, for the most part, he's a little out of control. He's always almost a step and a half over. He's always he's
overcommits because he's out of position.
And he's not strong enough to balance his body to stop. He's going through a lot of things right now that it's going to be easy to look at and say, you have to improve that to get to this. And somebody of his physical skill, in my opinion, this is going to be really good for him to be able to resource and get into the weight room, get into the gym, get into pickup, and know what he has to work on in the offseason. Because to me, you can't fix his issues overnight.
He's turned into a project. It's a project.
He needs development. He needs more time in the weight room. He needs more time in the gym. And I think, there's a lot of examples that are building up to show him why. And, potentially when you look at LSU's basketball roster next year, I'm telling you, it is, I didn't even, nobody's really even mentioned Devin Ree from Oak Hill Academy that's already in this class as well. I mean, you put Ree alongside Traora and Julian Phillips and possibly Marvell Allen if he's reclassified to the roster that they already have that has to come back. Let's just say you lose Tari Eason. And at this point, I think you probably would. As he continues to project and his game continues to grow and NBA scouts see him, I think that somebody would put his name in a draft room on Tari Eason and say, we should take this guy in between 15 and 25. I think potentially he could probably get there. So let's say you lose Eason, and then you dump this recruiting class onto the roster of Fudge, Reed, O'Neal, Gaines, Murray,
present,
Wilkinson. I mean,
Ace Wolf,
Adam Miller. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you hate him or not, you disrespect him or not, you don't like the way that his tactics are perceived in the public. There's no way you can look at that roster and say, there's 10 better teams in the country than that one. Because that is big time. That feels like Kentucky. That feels like Kansas. That feels like a blue blood type roster when you've got multiple 5 stars on the roster. I mean, you've got Phillips, Reed, and Traore just on the low block. That's 15 stars by itself. So, I mean, look, I'm not stomping my fist and pounding my feet and saying to pay the guy on again because I've done it. But at what point do you say he's winning with rats on the floor, leaking ceilings, and he's still getting 5 stars? Pay him.
Is this the time to extend him? Is 2 years like the normal time, like now?
No. When it was time to extend it was when he was going to tournaments and when he was going to SEC championships and he was getting 5 stars and he was showing that I'm doing my job.
So this is past time.
Yes.
Like it should have been done by now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But is it because there was a changing of the guard essentially with the new athletic director? Like you saw how Scotty likes to operate. He kind of lets you do your own thing until it comes time for him to knock on the door.
Yeah.
And now this might be the good knock for Will Wade as opposed to what happened to Eddie O, where it was like, look, man, I gave you opportunities and then you kind of buried yourself. But it seems like Scott wanted to get a feel for what Will Wade was doing. He was kind of the only one that felt safe whenever Scott Woodward came in. But now it's almost his evaluation period. And now I think that's come home to roost and be like, all right, this is the reason he hasn't been fired yet, or like his job was never on the line. Like he's doing exactly what I want from a head basketball coach because he was the one that brought in Buzz Williams. So he knows what winning basketball is. He knows what he's looking at. And now it's just time like, all right, Will Wade's on. I can't imagine LSU basketball without it. Like there's no reason for this to be a conversation.
Think back of LSU basketball before him.
Right.
Like to the people that are becoming greedy about Will Wade, they must not have lived through the Trent Johnson and Johnny Jones era of LSU basketball. I mean, you have to realize when there is life in this program, it's a whole different town. It's a whole different culture. It's a whole different fan base. And Will Wade has not only instituted that feeling within it's now almost becoming taken for granted for. You know what I mean? Like it's like, hang on, hold on. He has sold this to you over the last couple of years. You have bought in. People are at the arena. There are people out there supporting. And now you're going to start whining and complaining about things that they're not winning at the rate that you may want. They still have an opportunity to get a 4 seed, in my opinion. And they're unhealthy. And I'm not making excuses because I don't want to come on here and sound like I'm making excuses at every turn. They got to get right. They got to start winning. They got to win basketball games. But I feel like when they get healthy and they get some things figured out, that they're going to be a tough out. Mm-hmm. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by GoFlow IV, Geaux, flowiv.com. With the promo code over there, Jordy Culotta Show. All you have to mention is the Jordy Culotta Show at GoFlow IV, and this would be a great day to do it. This Monday, getting back, maybe you watched a ton of sports this weekend, you sat around, ate a bunch of junk food, drank margaritas,
what?
Celebrated Burrow.
What?
Celebrated Burrow going to the Super Bowl.
It's all live.
GoFlow IV and Spa is waiting on you here on this Monday morning. Baton Rouge's premier medical spa who specializes in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. They can help you out with memberships if you're interested in that over there. They offer them at a 3-month, 6-month, and annual rate right now. They can help you with illness recovery, athletic performance, chronic illness, hangover cure.
I'm
All the
fine.
things.
I'm fine. But I'm fine because I got the Godfather blessing to go in there on Friday. So they hooked me up,
It's exciting.
strapped me in, and I feel great. It really does get you ready for the weekend.
It does.
Yeah.
7970.
cocktail.
7970
Rename that
is
thing.
Jefferson Highway is where they're located. Stop in and see them. GEAUX, Make sure and mention the Jordy Culotta Show. You mentioned the Jordy Culotta Show, you get 15% off of your initial visit. We will talk to Kim Mulkey, who her Tigers yesterday after a win over Kentucky improved to 18-4 on the season. We will ask her about the next month, the next couple of weeks, as she calls it one of the toughest stretches at any part in basketball because everybody's got everybody scouted. You're a little banged up. Just what we were talking about with Wade's crew. You got to get it right and finish strong here. How does she see her team coming down the stretch? We'll talk to Kim Mulkey next year on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you starting your Monday morning here with us on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be right back with Kim Mulkey.
We got to start doing the Twitter Spaces from the Go Flow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that would be gangbusters.
Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. We will talk to Billy Embody about a huge recruiting weekend coming up here at 8:15 this morning, as he'll be here from On 3 Recruiting. LSU football had a couple in town, but yesterday on Sunday, there was more than 8,700 people out at the Maravich Center. There was a lot of options yesterday for people to take part of, but 8,700 people chose to get into the Maravich Center and support the LSU women's basketball team, who improved to 18-4 on the season. Shows you just the interest and intrigue that Kim Mulkey has built in year one. She picked up win 650 in her career yesterday, making her the fastest coach in both men's and women's Division I basketball to reach that milestone. We appreciate her starting her Monday morning with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show as she's heading over to a staff meeting here shortly. We'll get her in and out of here. Get to some of the details on her squad. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jordy. How are you, buddy?
Doing good this morning. Coach, you knew it when you sat down for your post-game presser when Burrow was down that he was going to make the run and win the AFC Championship game. How did you know it?
Well, you just don't ever give up on winners. If the sky's not falling when you get behind. I've been in that situation many times, and winners figure out how to win. Now, the Chiefs on their home field, you don't expect it, but, it just, when I heard the score and I heard it was just halftime, I thought, well, there's plenty of time there. So go Joe Burrow, go Chase. And they get to play against Odell Beckham, another LSU guy in the Super Bowl. Am I missing anybody else on those rosters? They're LSU people.
You got Whitworth on the Rams, left tackle. Then you got Thaddeus Moss, Chase, Burrow, and Tyler Shelvin. So you got 6 Tigers in the Super Bowl.
Well represented. Happy for all of them. So we all win-win, don't we? No matter who wins the game, it's a win-win for all of us that love LSU.
Kind of felt like you going into the fourth yesterday, down 5. I thought that your team was going to get on a run there. Kayla Pointer was the story, but I thought that it was a full team effort in the way that you clawed back in that fourth quarter and ultimately won that game. What did you take away from your squad yesterday?
Well, I told them in the halftime, I said, this is like a heavyweight boxing match. And I said, The gloves are going to get a little bit heavier. You're tired. You got to just last. You got to be the last one standing. And I thought that we just sucked it up a little bit and made plays. And I thought our kids just had a will to win that was amazing. And they had tasted that defeat twice in the last week on the road, or the last 2 games on the road. And it certainly wasn't indicative of the sky is falling or everything's going bad. It's just an indication of how dang hard it is to win on the road, especially in this league. And with a team that won 9 games last year, no, we're never going to be down. We're going to celebrate everything we do.
You knew you had your hands full with Ryan Howard, who is, as you called in the post game, possibly could be the number 1 pick in the draft. What did you take away from your defense yesterday?
Well, we knew we were going to be smaller on the perimeter, especially. She's a big guard, and then they're big in a lot of places, much bigger than we are. And so I knew rebounding would be a factor, and it was. They out-rebounded us 1, but we battled. And I knew defending them, of course, you know, I'm a man-to-man coach. I knew defending them, they would try to post her and others up, and they did. And I just thought we just battled. We fronted those kids down there. You can't give her much space when she has the ball in her hands. And I thought we fought over picks. I thought our post helped a lot on picks. You knew she was going to get her points because she's that good. We just couldn't allow the second and third player to beat us. And honestly, we did allow the second player going in at halftime to have a pretty darn good game, the freshman. And then we concentrated and talked about that and how we would guard them differently in the second half. And we came out of there with a victory, and I'm glad. It was Alumni Day. Had a lot of former players there and introduced at halftime, and had the second largest crowd of the year. So it was good to be back home. It's always good to play at home, and we're going to take today and tomorrow off because it's a bye week, and then we'll go to Oxford, Mississippi for the next one.
I knew you were going to ratchet it up when I saw your combined turnovers over the last 2. Florida and Arkansas was at 35. Couldn't imagine the practice the last couple of days.
Well, you ran the last couple of practices every time you turned it over. You know, you can't win with that many turnovers.
We only had 8 yesterday.
Yesterday was a different story, and you just got to take care of the ball. And, you know, the thing about it is our guards had 15 of the 19 of the last game, and that's just unacceptable. They know it, and we fixed it yesterday.
You mentioned that this is going to be the last month of the season, of the regular season. Usually is the toughest stretch because everybody's scouted, everybody's a little banged up. How do you feel coming down the stretches? I got to imagine this bye week comes at the right time.
If you watch men's and women's college basketball right now, you see a lot of injuries. You see a lot of fatigue, mental fatigue, and physical fatigue. It just is that time of year. It's not just this year; it's every year. If you keep up with the game. We start in October, guys, and it just hits you, and you've got to fight and grind for wins because you can't even breathe. People have scouted you so well, and if you can survive and get to the postseason, then you kind of get re-energized because you're not playing against the same teams that know you so well. So we'll grind and try to win as many of these last 7 as we can. But yet at the same time, I will always say, keep perspective. You're watching the evolution of a program that's trying to do it right, and they only won 9 games last year, and we've doubled the number of wins. If we never win another one this year, we've doubled the number of wins, and I would think probably have the attention of the NCAA on getting a postseason bid.
For sure. You will go down as one of the greatest coaches in team sports history. No matter the sport, you are a Hall of Famer. Yesterday was number 650. Do you ever, within the moments that you accomplish these feats, sit down and recognize and just kind of take a deep breath and realize the accomplishments in what you have put together in this stellar career?
Absolutely not. Jordy, I didn't know yesterday was 650. Wow. You know when I found out about it? Wow. When we walked in the locker room, and I had recruits trailing me in that locker room to cut up and laugh and celebrate with the kids. And when I walked in, I saw them all wearing these shirts, and I was like, wow. And that's why I have the great staff I do. Those staff did that. And and kept it quiet. I don't keep up with that. I never have kept up with it. But you got to understand, 651, it tells you how old I am and how long I've been coaching. And number two, it tells you what great players I've been able to coach. You don't win without good players. Yes, you can say it's all about coaching. I don't disagree. But that coach has to have something to work with. And I did not know that until after the game.
You're the fastest to do it in both men's and women's Division I college basketball, so you're probably the youngest, which is all good. You mentioned recruiting. It seems like it's on fire right now. How is the message being received both locally and around the country?
Well, we had a great recruiting class early. I signed my first McDonald's All-American in the first recruiting class at LSU. Not my first ever, but
Sure.
at LSU. And we feel good about the 5 that are coming in, and then that helps us recruit the next class. The season we're having helps us recruit the next class, and we're trying every chance we get to bring as many young ones in as we can and be on the road, be seen. And, it's not going to happen overnight, but at least this has been a good jump start.
Are you good with the progress of the facilities and what you see on the horizon coming from a basketball standpoint?
Well, right now my focus is on finishing a facility that, is going to house our offices. And, I've told you many times,
Yes,
I came in here and raised some money to get new offices in the administration building. Now I know they're working with TAF is working really hard to do things at the PMAC, but I can't wait that long. It's a immediate need for me. And then also the immediate need was to the training facility for our basketball program there in the hallway where our locker room is. Those are at any day being completed. Now, the bigger picture of the PMAC and all the facilities at LSU, I know we had our meeting with Copolis to gain ideas and for them to look around and see what the needs are. And I haven't heard of late when we'll, receive the response back from them on things. As well as I do, it's all about money. TAF has to go out and raise the money to get new facilities. And so my challenge is for the alumni, the big money donors, help us not just in men's and women's basketball. We certainly are selfish and want it for ourselves first because we feel like we've got one of the oldest buildings on campus. But in order to probably do some things to the PMAC, some other things probably have to be moved or done. I don't know. I'm a new kid on the block. I'm listening. I'm learning. And let's keep our fingers crossed that it happens sooner than any of us think.
Tigers improved to 18-4 yesterday with the win over Kentucky, 6-3 in conference play. It's a bye week. They'll still be working, but they're back on the wood next Monday night as they travel to Ole Miss to take on the Rebels. Thank you, Coach, as always, for the time. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Jordy. Have a good one.
Yes, ma'am. There she is, Kim Mulkey checking in from LSU women's basketball this morning. That conversation brought to you by Edward Jones and Daniel Newman, our friend over there. Remember, Daniel Jones is located out in central Louisiana and can help you with all your financial advice that you may be looking for. If you're looking for investment strategy, if you're looking for a little bit of direction on where you should invest, get in touch with Daniel Newman. As we've told you always, if you work in the plant industry, Dow, BASF, Exxon, any of the industries within the plant industry, he can help you out with their fiscal setup with 401k, financial advice. He really understands that in and out. Get in touch with Daniel Newman, 225-261-8262, 225-261-8262, or online, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com, daniel.newman
Looks like Dabo.
at edwardjones.com. Does have a little dab to
He
it.
does.
He looks like a Division I head coach.
He looks
He
like a
does.
basketball
Doesn't he?
coach.
He does.
Absolutely.
Like, I
That's
mean, like-
perfect.
He kind of looks like a young Rick Barnes.
It's such a compliment to him, too.
Yeah,
He's probably like, oh,
absolutely.
hell yes, I do.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah. Nailed
Beat
it.
his chest.
Yeah. Come out.
That's right.
Daniel wants y'all to hit that like button too.
That was good stuff with Kim Mulkey. I
Thank you,
appreciate that. Yes, Daniel. Your financial advisor told you to hit the like button. Listen to him. Get good
Good
return on
fiscal
that.
advice.
Get good return on that. But that was good conversation with Kim Mulkey. As always, we appreciate her for stopping by here. She's definitely got, the turnaround in year one, the number says it, right? Like she just said, you've doubled your wins in year one. They went from 9 wins last season. They're now sitting on 18 as they beat Kentucky yesterday. It's incredible to see the turnaround really in just one season and the positive momentum that she has built behind that. And if there is one titan for facilities that can get things done up there that I think Will Wade has an ace in. It feels like it's almost an ace in his corner. It is Kim Mulkey, because, I mean, if anybody has been to the LSU Athletic Administration building, it feels like, on the second floor, there is a massive construction overhaul that is happening for Mulkey and the facilities that she has beckoned. She has pleaded for since she got there. But look, she came in with some big money. I mean, when she was hired, she went out and raised, a lot of funds.
Oh, you saw the ticket sales
to do what she's asking for.
Yeah, I mean, she brings a certain cachet whenever she comes on campus, and that's what I'm putting on the poll. But is she the one person that probably Scott Woodward is the most intimidated by on campus? Because when she talks on the phone, I feel like I'm getting coached. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So I would imagine if you can get Will Wade and her in the same room saying, hey, look, this is what we need. Will Wade's asking, Kim Mulkey is telling you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I signed up for whenever you brought me in here. This is not it yet.
Yeah.
She's really concerned about her office.
Yeah.
She
is
not
concerned
like what
about
she's
her
sitting
office.
in.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's where she closes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where she's taking recruits.
business here.
Absolutely. And I mean, the
Yes.
thing needs to look.
Like Kim Mulkey.
It
Probably
does.
very expensive.
It
Oh
does.
my gosh.
Very large.
Lots
very
of
flashy.
sequins.
Yeah, it's a lot of
You know what I mean?
sequins. Yeah.
Yes.
Close that door. You know what I mean?
Dude, Katie and Kim have a lot in common on the style
know, we
sense.
could make
Yeah,
a killer
y'all-
office.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Get
Big
that
jacket?
cardboard out of here.
Big jacket?
No, for me, no.
No?
I think we just.
She
I
loves
think-
the jackets,
I think
Kim.
Willie
Loves
just
the
means
jacket.
Loves
Yeah.
the jackets.
we like the style.
All right, we're going to get back to Joey Burrow here as the Bengals and Chase are heading to the Super Bowl. They'll be taking on, as we said there with Mulkey.
What?
Clean this place up.
There we go. More like that.
Right.
Clean up in
Yeah,
here.
right.
Dude, did you see the cardboard when you took the picture?
Gold-plated.
Did you see the
gold-plated
trash in
toilets?
the corner?
Yes. Gold-plated.
I think considering for the weekend, the place is pretty clean.
Pretty good.
It what happened? That's what I was gonna say. What you came up in here at like 4 a.m.
I
didn't
did.
you?
Well, I got
I
here
knew
early.
it.
got
I
here-
knew it.
But I thought we left last night with it pretty clean.
We made a concerted effort to clean.
Yeah.
I think we're,
Definitely didn't leave any food out.
no.
That's good. That's a
And shout out to
step
Iversteins
up.
for hooking us up this weekend, man. Everything
Yeah,
on the
that
menu
meat.
was fantastic.
Not made, y'all.
Sausage
Mississippi's
po'
here.
boys
Yeah.
Saturday
Sausage.
morning.
I noticed that the sausage was gone. We had leftovers. But then Katie came over, and now we don't have any.
And then pulled pork on Sunday for the crew. But it was definitely a meaty weekend
It
from
was a meaty
Iversteins
weekend.
over at the
noodle.
Over the noodle.
Get your noodle wet.
Stewie was great. What a great addition Stewie has been to the team. I don't
We
want to
got a
throw too
player.
many compliments at him here just after 1 week. Might run him off, but it does feel like we found ourselves a player.
Filling out the squad. You
yeah.
love their 5-star.
I like
We'll
it.
wait over here.
Put him on the text group last
That's
night,
right.
which
I
is a
saw
big
that. I
move.
was
Big
like,
move.
oh,
Big move.
Yeah.
That is big.
Thought Stewie
No
came with a
pressure.
nice reaction.
He did.
Just wait till you get removed.
Yeah. Or remove yourself.
Or remove yourself.
You might remove yourself. Who
Excuse
knows?
myself from this conversation.
So dramatic. And then at 8:15 this morning, we'll talk to Billy Embody about recruiting. Of course, this weekend was huge for LSU football. If you saw some of the social media coming out, Jordan Allen was a great follow this weekend, the Lafayette defensive back who was a late addition to the class. He pledged his commitment to Brian Kelly and Coach Kerry Cooks of the defensive backfield, which, by the way, caveat, LSU's defensive coordinator will start today.
Yeah, Matt House get him in the building.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit last night. You think he's here?
I think that he flew in last night. I think that
Wow.
the time is so sensitive as far as this week goes with National Signing Day on Wednesday. Really, we're about to realize what's going on. The fate of Harold Perkins and Jacoby Matthews and Trevante Citizen and a lot of these guys that we've been curious and asking about. And we'll ask that to Billy Embody coming up here at 8:15 this morning about what he thinks. But we're about to find out. In the next 72 hours, we're all going to realize where these guys are going to college for at least the next year, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it used to be a 3 to 5 year deal. Now it really is going to be year to year on how long you have these guys on campus. But if LSU could finish up with Jacoby Matthews, Harold Perkins, possibly Trevante Citizen, that's a huge splash after what they've accomplished in the transfer portal to put that caliber of player into the boat in the late signing process when you're going up against a lot of stuff. And I think LSU's getting in the game of everything that's becoming competitive of college football recruiting. NIL is really all it is. Just being able to have that conversation with recruits on weekends like this where, I mean, there's a lot of gray around it. You can't sit down and tell somebody who to go talk to or where to go talk to them at or what their business is or influence anything. But I mean, it's a lot like recruiting was just 2 years ago, where there's stuff happening, under the table or around the table or not clearly on top of the table. You know what I mean? There's still conversations that are happening within the back rooms of, look, here's who you need to go talk to. We'll get you set up from an NIL standpoint. This is what LSU has going on. This is how they're supporting this.
What do you think it would have looked like if Coach O was still here? It felt like much like a we'll figure it out later, like kick the can down the road type deal. And now that we have a new regime in place, it's almost been like they're figuring it out along the way, but at least the conversation is able to be had. Mm-hmm. Like there was a time when these guys were coming in to, be recruited, like you say, Denver Harris. Like there was no NIL conversation to be had. And now at least you're like, all right, go meet with him. Yeah. Like they're getting the plan in place. They're still behind, it feels like a little bit. But at least LSU was in the ball game. Like there was go figure it out at the Rotary Club was not really the answer.
We always go back to that question.
Well, I mean, it was where they
or
were.
His answer.
That's where they were. That's less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And he was just laughing about it.
That's the week before the season started. It's a week before practice started. The day before practice started for last season. I mean, to show you where they were to where they are now, it's 180 degrees.
That
it's
was that Rotary Club meeting?
Yeah, up in the Tiger Stadium.
Yeah. Seems like yesterday.
It does, but I mean, like they've gotten a lot of stuff figured out from how you can combat those conversations. Did we mention Danny Lewis jumped in the class this weekend? Westgate tight end is another one. He's the one that put out the.
Oh, did Brian Kelly go viral again?
The social media.
What happened
with Dan? Well, last time I checked, it was at 8.5 million
views.
8.5 million views. Danny Lewis, the tight end who gets in this. So it was Lewis. It was Jordan Allen. It was Harold Perkins. It was LaTerrence Welsh. And it was Jacoby Matthews, who you saw a ton of this weekend. By the way, they look great in the purple and gold. They look great in the unis.
That video of them coming out the tunnel onto Tigers, like onto Death Valley.
So it looks like kind of like a part of that was where they got Frank Wilson selling the pitch. Our guy Glenn West over at SI, big fella, can play in the paint. Looks like a hell of a matchup. Could be our third if we take on the trainers.
Easy guy to pick on when you're asking questions. Like, Glenn in the
Absolutely.
corner? Yes, you're 7'10".
I mean, Glenn's kind of the guy in a press conference room where everybody's head is at kind of like the same level. His is like the mountaintop, you know what I mean? Just like the kind of like the peak of the mountain where you're like, whoa, Glenn, what's up, bro?
Yeah,
Are you sitting on a couple of phone books? No, not at all. I'm just 7 feet. But he put together a couple of the highlights of the weekend of that crew. And that's where you caught like kind of like all of what happened, like from Friday, Saturday, even like some Sunday morning stuff of getting them out of there, of just how good the weekend was for these cats. Malik Neighbors was here on Saturday watching the LSU basketball game with us. His facial expressions, if nothing else, kind of tipped his hand that they had a pretty good time on Friday night. I mean, he wasn't gonna really kind of get into it, but I mean, he was just like, I mean, it was awesome. It was all. I mean, at some point I had to get in. I had to go home. They may still be going, and the game tipped off at 11 a.m.
You asked, he's like, well, what do you want to do tonight? He goes, more of the same.
Well, one of them FaceTimed him, right, when he was sitting there. Who was that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who it was.
I can't remember who it was, but yeah, he was FaceTiming while I was sitting in there.
Oh, it was Jordan Allen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was Jordan Allen.
That's right.
I'm telling you,
where you at?
The star of the weekend. I mean, he was like, we live, bro.
Yeah. All right, hit me back. But isn't that like Jordan Allen, isn't that kind of once you want to see a guy that wasn't going to come on an official or come on a visit at all, then he sees the names and he's like, oh, bro, I'm driving down to Baton Rouge right now. Like, that's what you want.
Was it Danny Lewis that was scheduled to go to Florida and called Florida and said, you know what, I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling.
Let's make sure Danny Lewis can't wake up in the morning.
Yeah, right.
He's staying in Baton Rouge.
What time's the flight, Dan?
Missed it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That ain't going to happen.
Sorry, Billy.
You need to call Napier. Let him know. David Corona says, does LSU have a shot at Citizen? We're going to ask Billy Embody at 8:15 this morning. Stick around. Billy Embody will be here talking the latest in recruiting. Remember our friends over at Relief Med.
Always.
Relief Med. Lloyd, I believe this week starts. Is it the weed reviews start this week?
I believe so. I mean, it
Yes.
started every day since yesterday. But,
Absolutely.
I'll put it on tape.
Now's the time to start taking it to the public.
That's right.
Weed reviews will begin by Lloyd now that flower is legalized for medical patients here in the state of Louisiana. It is a very easy step-by-step process over at reliefmed.com to get a recommendation for your medical marijuana card. All you need to do is log on to RELEAF med.com, and I'd imagine with Joey B headed to the Super Bowl, with Sean Payton announcing that he is retiring, there's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot to get over right now. It is a roller coaster of emotions that you should probably travel through with Relief Med. RELEAF med.com.
Don't do it alone.
Don't do it alone.
I mean, how can you not trust
And
this
make
doctor?
sure and use the promo code. I know that there was a little bit of confusion. The promo code has been updated. It is Jordy1, JORDY 1, no 01, just Jordy 1 for your new promo code to receive 20% off of your initial purchase over at Relief Med, RELEAF med.com.
I mean, is that the doctor you go
I was
visit when you're over
just-
there?
I was just thinking that.
Looks
That-
Italian.
I do mine in person.
Greek.
Looks Italian.
Or Greek. Yeah.
Greeks.
Either one. Greek or Italian. Or
Greeks.
Lebanese. Whatever. No.
Greeks are taking them all.
It's Jimmy G in 20 years. He's going to be working at Relief Med. Like, I was in the Super Bowl. A couple overthrows, I'd have been a guy.
How did y'all's bets go, speaking of?
Excuse me?
How did y'all's bets go this weekend?
I got swept yesterday.
This was my first betting experience.
Oh, how'd you do?
I mean, I only won one. Thank God. Odell, has 113 yards because
Good
the one I
call.
won was Jamar and Odell 150 combined.
Oh, so Odell saved you.
Yeah, Odell saved me.
I thought Odell played pretty good. He played
Yeah.
pretty big
Oh,
yesterday.
Baker's on
Sneaky.
notice.
did.
Baker was trending on Twitter last night.
He should have been.
Yeah.
He should
Wait,
be.
what was trending on Twitter?
Baker
Baker
Mayfield.
Mayfield.
Okay.
He played for.
Okay.
He
I mean, how
played
can
for.
you not get this guy the ball?
Yeah, I thought he did really well.
How do you stop Cooper Kupp?
Odell is in that
You
part
don't.
of his career where he stopped going across the middle. I mean,
Absol-
he came to a complete. I don't know which was more impressive: his ability to come to a complete stop on a bum knee,
I know.
or just the decision on national television to say, "F this, bro! I'm not going across the middle anymore."
I don't
I
know.
made
I'm not getting
way
hit.
too much money. Are you
Okay.
kidding me?
The NFL and the referees absolutely nailed it last night, and like all of yesterday, no penalties that
Yes.
shouldn't have been
Oh, yeah.
penalties.
I
They
agree.
just let the boys play,
Yeah.
and it was not a ref show. It was unbelievable to just let all of that play out because, like you said, Odell put the brakes on a couple of times.
Yeah.
There was a fair catch where somebody got crack backed on. They didn't call it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just let the boys play some football.
Yeah.
It was an unbelievable Sunday for that.
It was.
It really was.
The last 2 weeks of football in the NFL is the reason
Sex.
why the NFL smiles and laughs and points at everybody
Mm-hmm.
who tries to get them on all this political stuff. Like, I mean,
We're gonna keep
okay.
going. We're just pushing through.
Yeah, right. 18 billion last year in revenue. 18 billion last year and climbing. And by the way, the last 2 weeks is sex, drugs, and rock and roll for all of our fans, wrapped up into 6 football games that we can expand the playoffs again if we wanted to and give you more.
Make the whole thing a playoff.
Y'all want some more crack to sprinkle on you in a January weekend?
Get your spoon out.
Sun shining outside, everybody's cuddled around their TV inside. Can't get enough of this
What
stuff.
am I gonna do for 2 weeks?
I mean,
Give me my food.
I started thinking about what am I going to do after football season yesterday.
I
Like,
thought
I mean,
about
you're
that
not
too.
going like the NBA is going to hit me with some Sunday lineup that you want me to get fired up for.
yeah, we've got
I mean, I watched
basketball.
Kyrie and Steph on Friday night. Steph looked off.
Getting old.
I mean, he couldn't find it, bro. He couldn't throw it in the ocean
And then you got Kyrie who just put him in just dog walked him, put him in the
did.
blender.
by missing 3 months.
Yeah.
How'd your bets go?
Great.
They
Great
did.
week- Great weekend for your
Really?
over here.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep you
hopped
coming
on-
back.
Yes, it feels great. Watch out, Bookie. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I didn't
but
do
I
as
did.
great.
Are you
obviously-
still illegal betting? Are you legal
I
betting?
gotta clean up some of the account. You know, I don't want
right,
gotta make sure we're
Wasn't
all
a clean break.
We're all square here.
That's right.
Coming for that ass.
Yeah, right.
But I did a little live betting for the first time legally
Oh.
on the Rams when they were down. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna die on this train. So I hopped aboard. I think Rams catching 6.5 in a live bet.
Okay.
How'd you do
Covered.
it? Like, what do you mean?
I just hopped on the app and they say live odds.
Okay.
And I was like, I got to ride the.
That's
Sound pretty
risky.
crackheadish over
I
there.
know, it does.
I'm talking about you.
Oh,
Yeah,
me?
oh, yeah.
What do you mean? How'd you do it? Where'd you get it?
Well, I'm
Can you
trying to
show me?
learn. I'm trying to learn. Hello.
Great bet by you, though. Little Cooper Kupp Odell. There
Yeah.
you go. That's a
No, it was
savvy
Jamar
play.
and Odell.
What was
yeah,
your
Jamardo
What was
down.
your app of
Yeah.
choice?
I did
Barstool.
DraftKings.
Okay,
DraftKings?
good. I
Because
did
David did
FanDuel.
Barstool, so I wanted to
Yes.
see what. Oh, okay, good.
Stewie
So
was on
we-
Caesars.
Yes.
Oh, good.
All
David
over
couldn't
the
get that to
place.
work, and if he could have gotten his hands on the Caesars people, I mean, I've never seen him so angry in my life.
No, not yet. Let's
Same
not
thing happened to
say.
me.
Save this
we're
for
not
behind the
mad.
scenes.
Yeah, we're not mad. We're just
Nobody's
disappointed.
talking shit. Everything
Well,
is
it was-
good.
Nobody's talking shit, but
Everything
I mean, it
is
was
good
a lot
here.
this
Nothing is
weekend.
fucked, dude. Nothing is fucked. Nothing is fucked.
Think
Right in
about how
802.
many
Sure,
people are
Rug.
on those apps.
Sure, Rug.
Oh, dude, I couldn't imagine
I
the
mean,
influx. I would love to see the numbers, like of the cash that came in just from Louisiana. They had to
Yes.
get hammered by the Bengals because all of Louisiana, it opens up, and they didn't do anything but bet on the Bengals money line every which
Yeah.
way, and they're like, this could be massive for us,
Crushed.
and they got crushed
Yeah.
by Joey B.
Crush Joey.
Can
Coulda
you
told you.
imagine?
What
Right.
about Joey's answer to to Dennis Dodd? Was the reporter that asked Joey yesterday if his jewels were real?
Oh God, that was hilarious.
Did you hear Joey's response?
Yes, I make too much money.
Wait, I make way too much
Bro,
money to
way
have
too
fake
much
jewelry,
money.
bro. Are you out of your
Call
mind?
Boosie, see if it's real or not. You put Boosie on the table?
What kind of question is that though? Why would you ask that question?
Dennis Dodd, bro.
Why though?
He's in the Pat 40 camp. I mean, he comes out of that
It's a
type
dumb
of
question. Of course, it's
These
real.
people.
yeah.
Get with the
course
times,
it's
dude.
real.
Of course it's real.
I mean, you're asking for a smart ass response to be given straight back to you. When
And
you
you
ask a
know
question
Joe
like
Burrow
that.
is the smartest of asses.
Yes.
Like, there's no shot he's not. Dude, the youngest of brothers. Like, you got to be quick on your feet, dude. Like, he gets his ass kicked every day.
What a silly question.
He shrugged it. He laughed it off too.
He looks like just the coolest
killer.
guy of all time.
He does.
Did you see I think I sent it to y'all, the ESPN TikTok where he's sitting with the cigar in LSU uniform and then
Dude.
it flips to Bengals uniform?
ESPN has picked up their game.
Yeah, they have. Their TikTok game is
It's
strong.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
They were like behind in the times. Like, shout out to
I
ESPN, good for y'all.
know.
But thank you because everybody follows you. Get the shit right.
I was shocked it was
budget,
ESPN.
boy.
I
Yeah.
was like, wait, was that on ESPN?
Exactly. That's what I did the same thing.
I
I
had
was
to
like, this is
double check.
ESPN.
Yes.
Well, I
Good
mean,
for
they're getting
them.
run over.
I mean, by everybody.
Yeah.
Get in the game, dude.
Well, I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're finally stepping up and doing it.
Yes.
Remember RMB Builders, our friend Rhett Bourgeois at RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. If you want a custom design home, if you want to get a home refurbished that you're living in, a reconstruction, remodel, get in touch with RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. He also brings you our podcast daily, and we had somebody tweet in, Cole Crump, tweeted in at Culotta Show, at Jordy Culotta. Hey guys, what's going on with the pod on Spotify?
Oh, I don't know. Well, we
Is
had
it,
this
is it
conversation.
not available anymore?
had
Hashtag
this-
withdrawals.
Oh, good.
What?
Glad,
Okay,
yeah,
Cole.
just
We
a little
are
sprinkle.
Cole. We are behind the scenes getting you answers, and we'll figure that out for
Well,
you.
I
But
heard
2
it
hours.
was on Spotify. Sean,
Yes, it should be on Spotify.
He checked his phone. He's like, no, it's up, so it might be on your end, Cole. But I don't want to blame you. But hey, thank you for looking out. If you can't
Yeah,
find it, go to
thanks.
Podbean. It's up there. You know, all the apps you can find it. Just watch us live, bro.
Maybe they took us down with
JordyCulottaShow.com.
Neil Young.
And RMB.
Withstand.
Wow. Yeah, Neil, bro.
Neil.
Not the
Neil,
fight. You want to
Jack,
fight?
yeah.
Take a look at your
Not
life.
the
Neil.
fight. You want to fight right now, Neil.
Oh,
Neil.
That was
And
weird.
also, buddy,
Can't
the
go against
70s
Joe
are
Rogan.
over, dude.
You can't go against
Like-
Joe. He's a monster.
yeah, that was a weird flex.
And now, like Joni Mitchell is like joining the fight. Like, hey, Joni, sweet, see ya. We're gonna
that's
keep the
sad.
Rogan show, all right?
We're too
Sad.
invested.
I mean, who's next?
He's like their biggest
Sonny Bono?
grossing show they have, and they're like, okay, bye, Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I mean, it's yeah. All right, see ya.
I mean, I like Neil Young, but that was weird.
I appreciate. I mean, I
I
understand.
wonder if the Spotify guy was like, hey. Did y'all know Neil Young is still alive? Because he's on line one threatening his catalog of music if we don't remove one of the hottest podcasts in the world right now. What should we do? Should I tell him I'm surprised he's alive? Who? Or should I just cut his music right now?
It's from 19-year-olds like Neil Young
I
is
know.
online. Who is this? Like, dude, just cut it. Whatever. Hang up.
They didn't take all his covers off though.
Scott
That's all
Oldham.
anybody-
Hashtag Ask Jordy. I saw this morning too. Tried to listen and an old show was on the work.
Oh no.
That might be
This might be on me,
that
boys.
might be
me.
producer error.
Let's see. Neil Young, you've screwed us all over.
It's all Neil Young's fault.
It's Neil Young's fault.
But
I'm checking on it.
an incredible weekend for sports, really.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors are taking on Brooklyn on Friday night, which was I believe Saturday night, which was fun to watch and just kind of like another highlight of the weekend. But recruiting coming up, we'll talk with Billy Embody. But the AFC and NFC championship games yesterday, the billing It lived up to every piece of it. We mentioned the football over the last couple of weeks, just how tremendous and high level, how much of a high level it has been played at, and just the stranglehold that the NFL has on the customer seeking entertainment. I mean, just the value that they put on their product and how much it produces and gives back the way that it did over the last couple of weekends was phenomenal. And now to see Burrow in the Super Bowl with a 2-week buildup going into Los Angeles to take on the Rams. I mean, this cat Burrow, he's got to be, he's new age Brady. He feels new age Brady, which, by the way, I do not believe by a second that Tom Brady is retiring.
I don't either anymore.
I think that Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington in contract years tried to throw it out on the table. And this is why we are not in the news breaking industry. I am not a news. I don't want to break any news. People can have credit. I want to give people credit. I want to tell people that Billy Embody broke a story about recruiting. I want to tell people that other outlets are breaking news, because the stress level that there must be in between you breaking that news and it being confirmed by the subject and or the person that is at the heart of that news has got to be just excruciating. I mean, it's got to be painful. I mean, I have been in the position a couple of times, never on the level at all of breaking like Tom Brady's retirement story, but have put some stuff out there at times where if it hits, it's going to be news breaking type material. And the stress level in between either tweeting it, saying it, and it actually happening is... It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not even worth it when you're right. Because, like, when they're, like, confirming, you're like, thank God. I mean, get me out of here, bro. Roll one up from relief, man. This is too much. I'm out, man. I mean, I'm never doing this again. I don't want this
smoke. I want that smoke.
John Chavis is taking the Texas A&M job, right? I mean, like, I could not get it confirmed enough. But, I mean, like, during the game, people are like, no, dude, it's not happening. I'm like,
I just heard from John Chavis.
Like, I swear to God, I think this is happening, man. I really think this is happening. And it just, the in-between portion of it was just like, you know what, bro? Forget it. Y'all can have this. Somebody else do this.
But the timeline.
I just want to talk to John Chavis in a month and ask him about all of this.
Give me reaction.
Right.
I don't want to break the news because Schefter, like, I do think that Tom Brady is retiring, but for him to step on Tom Brady's toes is an absolute, like, savage move.
Yeah, that really is.
What are you doing, dude? You just made so many enemies in the industry. I know Tom is going to be gone, but Tom has so many platforms set up for him to break this news. He's on Man in the Arena. He has his own podcast. Like, he's dropping a merch line. Like, you're fucking with Tom's money now, and he will not forget this. Like, Adam Schefter, when he was on before the Sunday night game, he was visibly haggard. Like, he was, like, stressed out about what he just did. It's like, dude, don't come at Tom. Dude, you don't think that's the most connected man in the NFL? What are you doing?
I mean,
well, 5 minutes after he broke it, Patrick Mahomes responded with just a single emoji.
Remember, Jackson or Patrick?
Patrick. He responded to it with a single emoji. Julian Edelman wrote, "Thanks for the memories, babe." Like, tweeted at Tom Brady. And then TB12 tweeted out this in 10 minutes. This was 10 minutes later. TB12 tweeted out a list of his accomplishments, congratulating, and then deleted it within an hour. I mean, so it was so sketchy from like the second it was broken. I mean, within like 30 minutes, it was like crazy responses, like smart ass responses and deleted tweets. Like, something's up with that, right?
First off, 22 years in any industry is a lifetime. 22 years in the NFL is an eternity. So, I mean, if this is the time, I get it. Yeah. Like, I understand. But when I heard it on Friday, I was like, this is too quick.
Yeah.
He just finished the season a week ago. He doesn't even know where his emotions are. For a guy like Brady to make this choice, maybe he's been thinking about it for a while. Maybe he said at the end of the season, this is it, no matter what. Win, lose, or draw, wherever I get bounced, if I win the Super Bowl, if we get bounced in the regular season, I'm out. Maybe he told his family that. I don't know. But it does seem anti-Brady a week after the season to make this type of choice.
Yeah.
Somebody that had said that he wants to play until he's 45 out loud, and now he's at 44, and he's had maybe one of his best statistical years he's ever had coming off of that, and he's just going to say, I'm out? Okay, if that turns out to be the case, all right. But when I heard it immediately, I was like, this doesn't feel like
right.
Brady.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like his type of story. This doesn't feel. And in today's age, Brady understands the way that media works. He's going to control that story.
Absolutely.
He's not going to allow that to be even a broken piece of news. Brady's going to sit down. He's going to look into the camera. He's going to tweet it out. He's going to put it on IG. He's going to put it on some social platform where he can receive the benefit from it. There's nobody more well-connected as today's athlete than Brady. As Lloyd just ran, he's starting a clothing. He's trying to become a new age Jordan. He wants the clothing line. He wants the championship brand. He wants the swagger. He wants all of the stuff that comes with being this Michael Jordan type figure that started with a sport. Brady is now kind of setting his life up for after football, where he's developing the clothing line and the TB12 and all the stuff that comes along with Brady. But he's also said out loud that he wants to play until he's 45 years old. He's only 44. And statistically, he's as dominant as he's ever been in the 22 years. For him just to announce that he's retiring a week after the regular season or a week after he gets bounced out of the playoffs, it just didn't make sense to me. When it hit, I said, that doesn't feel right.
Well, especially with everyone deleting their tweets. I mean, Mike Evans even deleted his tweet.
Like, he was supposed to retire. Adam Schefter might have driven
Him
Tom
back
back
for a
to
year.
football.
He might have.
Because he's
not going to allow them to have the
Control his narrative.
and control the story. He's just not.
So thank you, Adam
He's
Schefter.
that type of person, where he's like,
Oh, he was pissed.
No
there
doubt
was
about
no doubt.
it.
He picked, like, that's why all the.
well,
Like,
that was the deleted tweets.
Yeah.
Somebody had
Yeah.
talked to Brady and was like, bro,
It's
I
out.
talked to TB12. He's pissed. I would take your tweets down. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in support of this, I would take it down because he's building a list. You know what I mean? Like, he's behind the scenes. He's checking everybody
Billy
off.
Madison.
Schefter's going to be dead. He thinks it's a contract season. He's going to make it to the table.
Schefter's so
He's going to be in a one-car accident on some back road. He's going to Bill Clinton. He's going to Clinton his ass.
Because that's not, dude. Schefter, stay. Like, I understand you're in the news breaking business. Don't do that to Tom.
No.
Tom can, because Tom is so vindictive.
Especially for where he is right now, bro. I mean, like,
You're good.
You got all the leverage. You don't need that story.
Not worth it. Don't submit your
Especially
legacy.
if you don't have it right.
Well, I think he had it right, but now it's going to be wrong. Like, Tom would go out of his way to make sure that Schefter, I'm sorry.
Jeez, yeah.
Because this is a career altering for Schefter. Especially after the Washington football team story came out where he's like, is this good, Mr. Editor? Talking to the owner
that
of
was
the.
a bad look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it
said,
is.
Is that Bruce Allen?
Do you think this is Goodell saying leak it? Put Tom on blast. I want him back. Because he's obviously connected to Goodell, and through this, like, everything they do goes through the NFL.
I would think that Goodell and Brady are,
No, well, obviously the Deflate Gate, the phone, like, they're at odds.
yeah. I mean, that for somebody like Brady, he's not going to allow you to make that up. You know what I mean? Once you publicly embarrass him or reprimand him, he'll never. It's like Sean Payton. Like, he clowns.
Grudge.com.
Clowns Goodell.
Yes,
You know what I
he
mean?
wore the shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think this was Roger trying to get one over on Tom real quick, maybe with Schefter, be like, leak it, do it. Like,
So do y'all think he's retiring and he just wants to do it his way, or is he
Yes.
not retiring?
he's built
You
this
think he
entire
is? You
brand
think he
around
is?
this retirement. Like, this is supposed to be like a massive unveiling, and he got undercut by Schefter, who can't gritty without tearing his knees up. Like, this is just
I don't
Tom's going to
think
be
I don't
pissed.
think it's
Did you
happening
see L.A.
yet.
Gritty was here this weekend? Gritty and with
Learn
Brian
from the
Kelly.
best, dude.
Look at it, man. We'll talk to Billy Embody, recruiting weekend next year on the Jordy Culotta Show. It was an enormous one. Where is Harold Perkins? Harold Perkins' mother is on Instagram right now, blasting the dad and the uncles.
Right
Still?
now?
I think over the weekend she put out a post. She did leave a voicemail on the Jordy Culotta Show claiming that we had some part in the screw up a couple of weeks back when we had Uncle Kev on, who was an LSU loyalist.
Not
Well,
even
what's
his
she mad
uncle.
about now, though?
I don't know.
I mean, he was here.
Let's
100%.
let's stalk her on social media and find out.
Oh, I don't know
What's
if I want to
going on?
mess with her.
Schefter, hop in that arena, see what happens.
Right.
Yeah,
Schefter
right.
better play his cards
I'm
right.
like,
He
you
might
can
be
stalk
he
her.
might be covering recruiting here in the next couple of years.
In the junior high beat.
Yeah, right. Jordan Culotta yesterday off of a 21-point performance at Southern Lab.
Oh, we hit the over.
Hit the over. Blasted the over.
Uncle Frank was in the building. He could feed him one more time.
Yeah, right. Billy Embody
Came here to
from
collect.
Billy Embody from On 3 Recruiting next year on the Jordy Culotta Show, talking the recruiting weekend. If you've got a recruiting question, jump inside of the chat app and ask Billy, hashtag Ask Billy. We will ask Billy about your recruiting questions next. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button before you get out of here this morning at 9 a.m. We appreciate you starting your Monday here with us. Remember, we are driven and powered every single day by Go Chevrolet. Billy Embody next. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Big recruiting weekend for LSU football. If you were following all the social media coming out, a lot of images of a couple of 5-stars on campus, including Jacoby Matthews, top safety in the cycle from Ponchatoula, and one of the top overall athletes and linebackers, Harold Perkins, out of Texas, was in town alongside Jordan Allen and Laterrence Welsh and even Danny Lewis, who was a big tight end from Westgate, who put the viral video out on Friday with him and Brian Kelly dancing around the LSU football facility. At On3 Sports is the new site that's covering recruiting just about as good as anybody. Billy Embody got scooped up over there. I saw Sam Spiegelman join the crew at On3. They are building a squad to cover LSU recruiting, and we bring in Billy Embody here, who is very kind with his time here on this Monday morning. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Doing great, Jordy. How are you?
Doing good, buddy. We've got questions coming in from our chat app. We've got questions that we're curious about. We'll jump right into them. Let's recap the big weekend before we start to jump into some listener questions. What was the overriding theme of the visitors this weekend? The social media images looked fantastic. It looked like they were enjoying themselves in Baton Rouge. What did you learn about this weekend's visits?
I think just how well put together it was from LSU staff's perspective. I mean, they really pulled out all the stops. I mean, from having, the guy that started the Gritty in town to not only teach Brian Kelly how to do it, but hang out with the recruits and, do videos with them. I mean, they did that. I heard they had a really good kickoff Friday night reception at Red Stick Social, which is a really cool spot. Which kind of, kicked off everything and set the stage for a lot of fun. I think with Brian Kelly, I mean, he did a really good job coming in Saturday and Sunday and, sharing his thoughts on the program and where he wants to go. And then they had the NIL presentation on Sunday, which also they can't talk about deals and things like that, but just, sharing all of that information about the LSU brand, mind you, as Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are playing, they're getting ready to play at that time for the AFC Championship game. All of those things, it just felt like it was a weekend where you had signees coming in, you had current players helping recruit. They just really just knocked it out of the park in every single way, and you could tell the guys had a lot of fun with it.
Harold Perkins is the story this weekend, and Jacoby Matthews felt like the two headliners. Where does LSU sit with them after this weekend and after bringing them on campus officially?
I think with Harold Perkins, you're still cautiously optimistic if you're an LSU fan, and that's probably the way the staff is taking it too. He's somebody that has a lot of the ties with New Orleans. He's at a position of need with linebacker. He's been on campus a ton. Now he's gotten the pitch from the new staff. He's been able to hang out with Jacoby Matthews, they're tight with each other. And now it seems like everything has the chance to fall into place for LSU to land him. They got the last official visit. He decommits from Texas A&M. But will he? Will he end up at LSU? That's kind of the one thing that everybody over there is kind of holding their breath about. And I think they'll be holding their breath until he makes that final that final decision and signs with the school. I really do. It's one of those things where with where his recruitment's kind of gone in the last couple of weeks, you're not going to feel good until you have that national letter of intent. And then with Jacoby Matthews, I think LSU sits in a great spot for him. I think having the last official visit, I think there's still, Jacoby Matthews wanting to make that final decision. And I didn't hear of any silent commitment over the weekend. And I know there's some buzz on social media about somebody doing it. But right now where it sits with Jacoby Matthews, I love where LSU sits. But, I think he's going to make LSU sweat, so to speak, until National Signing Day as well. But I really do think they're in a good spot.
Hashtag Ask Billy Jedi517 with a super chat says, any updates on Caden Jones and Kedrick Richardson, both from De La Salle and New Orleans? The former staff offered both of them.
Yeah, Caden Jones is a really intriguing prospect out of De La Salle. I mean, a big offensive tackle who's got some Power 5 offers already with Colorado jumping in the mix. LSU offered them. And then they've got the in-state Raging Cajuns and Green Wave offering as well. I think he's somebody you're going to want to bring in camp and see where he goes. I mean, he's just such an intriguing prospect to me. I mean, that's what really stands out, and he kind of fits that mold of offensive lineman that you want to recruit. You want to recruit those lean prospects who could put on weight, and he's certainly got the size. They'll see where he develops, and then with Kedrick Richardson, he's really a sawed-off linebacker. I mean, he's about 5'9". 225 pounds. So I've seen him in action in camp. I think LSU is going to want to see him in action in camp, but he is in that 5'9" range, which at the SEC level makes it tough at times to kind of have the length and the size to compete too.
Rico Delgado, hashtag Ask Billy. How confident are you that LSU can land Tackett Curtis, the linebacker from Manny that you put me on, Lloyd, and the film on this cat is scary, bro.
Unbelievable.
Number 5 linebacker in the state, Bill. Where are we at? Where's LSU at on him?
Yeah, this is one where LSU is going to want to push for as hard as they can. He's a top 100 overall prospect, number 5 linebacker in the country. A lot of programs across the country are recruiting him. Ohio State offered him this month. USC, Missouri, TCU. He's really continued to blow up and does it on both sides of the ball for Manny. I mean, he's everything you want. I mean, we see why he's a top 100 prospect. Joe Sloan, Brian Polian both stopped in at different times in this past month to show Manny some love, which I know was kind of a hot button thing under the last staff. But I think you gotta see him make a visit at some point and come on down and check out LSU. And I think the staff is trying to make that happen. And so that's somebody that I think you just take a little bit of kind of a cautious approach as far as, feeling good about the chances, because, they do have to make up some ground. But the first thing LSU's done is gone out and seen Manny High. And that's a good move to try and get yourself kind of back into the race after the last half really
Billy,
dropped the ball on that.
Billy, I was in the same district as Manny, and they were not the Manny that they are now. What are they building over there, and how are they getting these kids? Is it this the Curtis effect? And my real question is Tackett related to these people? Is he a Curtis himself?
Yeah, Jess has done a really good job. I believe Jess is Tackett's uncle. I'm 99.9% sure that's correct. And I mean, he's just done a really good job building a tough program. I mean, I don't think that they're not going to have your multiple Division I prospects every year, but they're going to have a good one every year. I think it started kind of with AJ Carter was one. I remember LSU offered, he flipped, and then he flipped back, and I think he's since transferred from wherever he ended up. They've had Myron Warren, who went to Texas. They've kind of compiled some good talent over there. It's kind of been more of a one a year kind of program in a way. Which is, and then they've got Tylen Paul, who's a 2024 athlete who's really, really good. So they're a program you've got to go recruit now, and it's a kind of a pain to get to. I mean, it's a solid hour and a half off 49, and so, but they can kind of work it where if they go, check out some North Louisiana prospects, they swing through there and check them out and do that. And I just think the last staff just didn't do that enough for whatever reason, and now it's gotten to the point where I think you just have to do that. But I think just Jess has done a really good job of, building the program and getting prospects in there for whatever reason.
Seems like LSU put a good foot forward last weekend with Trevante Citizen as he was on campus for an official. He was at Auburn this weekend, which seems like the stiffest competition for him at the next level. Heard anything about Citizen this weekend in Auburn and where LSU stands going into National Signing Day?
Yeah, Sam Spiegelman actually had an update on Sunday, one of his first articles on Trevante Citizen as he wraps up the official visits for this month. And I still think LSU sits in a great spot. Cadillac Williams has done a terrific job recruiting Citizen for Auburn, but I think Frank Wilson has done a really good job building a relationship. And I think for Trevante, pretty much all of his questions have been answered about the program, what it's going to look like, and where LSU is going to stand for him. And I think on National Signing Day, when it comes down to it, I see him sticking with the in-state Tigers and jumping back on board as a commit.
Wow, that would be huge. I mean, Bill, right? I mean, like, this is best case scenario if they finish Matthews, Perkins, Citizen, this late class to put them into the boat. I mean, can you talk about the ground that this staff has made up in just the short time that they've been on the trail working this 22 angle?
Yeah, this is trending towards, and I think, who knows, there could be a surprise. It is National Signing Day, and I mean surprise, and it's all well and good right now, but maybe somebody goes elsewhere. But they're really, even if they miss on one prospect that they're on down the stretch, I mean they're sitting pretty. I mean, one, they're going to be most likely have the best finish out of any college in the country. I mean, especially if they got Harold Perkins and Jacoby Matthews. Then you add on, Trevante Citizen, who really kind of trended away. That's a great recruiting job if they can get that done. And then they've got a chance to add some quality prospects and Caleb Douglas, Danny Lewis, and Jalen Davis Robinson down the stretch here too on Wednesday. And so I just think if this is the type of close LSU can get done in its first class under Brian Kelly with this staff, I think that just sets the table for a really big 2023 class. It's the best transition year class in recent memory, probably ever, really, since they've really started tracking transfers and things like that. And it's already that, in my opinion, with just the guys that you think they're going to get for sure. If they get a Harold Perkins and some of these guys that are a little bit more on the fence, they can really make that statement. And it just says that I think Brian Kelly and his staff that he assembled can really recruit and sell this program and get it back on top. I mean, they're positioning themselves very, very well for a very strong future.
Danny Lewis, tight end out of Westgate, went viral with the dancing video and Brian Kelly earlier this week. He ended up at Florida on Sunday for a visit. Where does LSU stand right now with the pass catcher?
I think there's some growing confidence that LSU is going to land Danny Lewis. I mean, he's got some really good relationships with the staff. Sherman Wilson is somebody that's been recruiting him for years now. an off the field guy that LSU added this offseason. He's got a really good relationship. Mike Denbrock, Joe Sloan, they've recruited him as well. And another thing is distance. LSU is probably battling Alabama mainly here, just as far as trying to land Danny Lewis and keep him from going to the Tide. And I know Pete Golding has done a good job selling Danny Lewis and building a relationship with him. And Alabama's program is pretty impressive, but it does sound like things are starting to kind of become more of a toss-up, and I think LSU has a chance to get him. I think he's still weighing out his options, and I talked with him on Friday as he was getting set to go to Florida, and he was telling me, this is actually kind of cool. I'm going to be, having everybody guessing. No one's really going to know going into National Signing Day, and it's kind of rare that happens. So, quite honestly, right now, it could change, in a couple days, but he might be keeping everybody on their toes.
Is there a chance that Florida could land all three?
Never say never in recruiting. Yeah. LSU landed Eric Gilbert, right. And that took the never say never. That is my approach now. When LSU did that, that was my approach immediately following that. You never want to say never.
But do you see them all go? Did you see the way that they're doing the recruiting? Like Matthews and Perkins have been on trips together. They have the same final three. Do you think that wherever one goes, the other will follow, or is this just kind of like maybe reading too much into it a little bit, as LSU fans tend to do?
No, I think that just shows that they're tight, but I do think they're going to go wherever they want to go, if that makes sense. They're gonna make their own decisions, and I don't see them being a package deal or anything like that. Quite honestly, if it works out for them to play together, that's just kind of how it works out, rather than them trying to be a package deal together.
Billy Embody, join him on 3 Sports. On3sports.com is where you can subscribe now. He is covering recruiting for them over there. Bill, Will Wade strikes again over the weekend. A 5-star center, big man, Johan Traore, commits to LSU. What do you know about him, and what does he mean for this class?
Yeah, how about that? A 5-star big man, and LSU really kind of needed one, especially if somebody like Tari Easton goes pro. Darius Days is departing after this. So, this is he's strong, he's athletic, he moves really well. He's got some offensive game to him, and he's able to face up and dribble and get downhill. He can even shoot the three a little bit, and he really rounds out this class very, very well, especially if LSU does get Marvell Allen to reclassify. You have him and Traore with Devin Ree and Julian Phillips. That is an elite signing class. And this is one that as soon as Marvell Allen committed to LSU, I was kind of poking around and trying to find out, all right, well, who's next? And Johan Traore kind of popped up and was deciding between an official visit to Auburn and LSU. And we never really heard much. But I had heard that there was a silent commitment to LSU already before even Marvell Allen made his decision. And so I was trying to put together the pieces of the puzzle, and Johan Traore, once he kind of said that he was deciding between official visits to Auburn and LSU, I kind of thought it might be him, and lo and behold, he kind of came out of nowhere and announced his commitment on Sunday. And he's just a monster land for Will Wade, and I think now you go into the transfer portal and you look to probably address a need with your final spot and see what you come up with from the portal.
Bill, what do you expect to happen from a roster standpoint? Because I got Pinson Days and possibly Tari Eason on the way out next season. They have recruited at a high level with Julian Phillips and the prospect out of Oak Hill Academy. You got Marvell Allen, a possibility, and now you've got Traore with guys coming back like Fudge, O'Neal, and Reed. And where do you see this roster possibly being going into the season as far as expectation and possibly even ranking is concerned?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is LSU is always, it tends to be criminally underrated going into the season.
For sure.
So I'm not gonna. Who knows? They'll probably be outside the top 25 again in the preseason and make their climb that they seem to do every year. But I think what we've come to expect under Will is a little bit of unexpected roster turnover every year. And it's just like whether or not you think it's going to happen or not, or whether you're hearing it's going to happen or not, it just tends to happen. And so I don't know who's going to be on the move, but they've got 4 guys, if you count Marvell Allen, on board for 2022, and then they could get a 5th in a transfer. It seems to me like somebody's going to be, on the move, and Will Wade tends to find a way to make the numbers work on the roster, and however he does it, it's usually a pretty masterful job.
Billy, any word on Matt House? We had him flying out of Kansas City last night into Baton Rouge last night because of the time sensitivity of this week in National Signing Day. I'd imagine that he's got to be there this morning. Boots on the ground. I mean, do you have any idea when he would be set to begin?
I don't know when he's set to begin, but I would imagine he's probably en route if he's not already
flight tracker
at
season.
LSU. Yeah, I mean their season's done, and it's he's ready to probably move on and get to LSU and get to work and make some final pitches to these guys right before they sign and get going, and then head back to Kansas City and get his house and everything situated, and they'll do that once they get off on Thursday, for a little vacation after signing day.
One on Jordan Allen before I get you out of here. He seemed like he was pretty big for this weekend, just as far as the camaraderie went. It seems like he's a pretty big mouthpiece for this class.
Yeah, Jordan Allen's a great prospect that everybody really knows well in Louisiana. He's been, on the 7-on-7 scene and played for LCA for a while, and I think with him, he just really loves LSU and has really been wanting that LSU offer for a long time. And so for him to get that offer, get that opportunity to come to LSU kind of late in the cycle, it was kind of a dream come true. And he wants to make the most of it and help out as much as he can. So him, Landon Ibieta, a lot of the early enrollees that were on campus already, I mean, they all took an active approach in recruiting this class, especially this month.
Billy, tell everybody what's going on at On3 Sports and where they can find you guys.
Yeah, on the BengalTiger.com, you can find shortly before lunch the updated class prediction piece. We're rolling out before signing day. But it's going to be my kind of final take on where things stand and where I'm thinking LSU is going to end up finishing in the class and who they're going to get. And we'll also have reactions from visitors over the weekend as well. LSU also hosted a bunch of juniors, a lot of guys who are in 5-star range and underclassmen 2024 as well on Sunday. So we'll have a lot of reaction from that, and you can find that all on the BengalTiger.com.
One before I get you out of here on Joey Burrow, going to the Super Bowl in the second season that he's been a pro, first full season that he's healthy. We were all here in 18 and 19 covering him. What's your reaction to Cincinnati stamping their ticket to L.A.?
Pretty awesome, and I mean, in classic Joe, I mean the first thing he does is credit the defense in the second half and what they were able to do and slow down Patrick Mahomes, because that was getting close to a rout. I mean, there when it got to 21-3, I mean Kansas City had all the momentum, and you were kind of sitting there like, oh man, this is just not trending well. Home crowd into it, all those things, and they just buckled in and made their push. And I mean, when you've got somebody that is that cool and collected back there, you're never really out of it in a way. And so for him to be that collected in the moment and Jamar to have a big touchdown as well, it was just, I mean, it's unbelievable. It really, it's still, I mean, I guess we shouldn't be surprised anymore with Joe and what they're able to do, but man, just so happy for him second year and for him to bounce back and put it together. I mean, it's just awesome.
Billy Embody at On3 Sports is where you find him at on3sports.com, and he's here breaking down recruiting. I know it's a big week. Thank you for the time this morning, man.
Anytime, Jordy. Thanks for having me.
You got it. There he is, Billy Embody checking in. That conversation brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete is online at CajunRMC.com. Get in touch with our friends over there at Cajun Ready Mix for your project. No project too big or too small for our friends over at Cajun Ready Mix, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, municipal. CajunRMC.com. They provide ready-mix concrete products and services to meet all of your concrete needs. They've got 9 locations around the greater Baton Rouge area, which means for any of your project concrete, it's going to be on time and it will be to the exact specification that you order. High-quality products, grade A equipment, clear safety standards. That's what you get from our friends over at Cajun Ready Mix. Check out their website online at CajunRMC.com. That is CajunRMC.com. Appreciate Billy Embody for stopping by here on the Jordy Culotta Show as we were talking to Embody about a huge recruiting weekend. And the Tigers seem to have had a lot of high-impact guys on campus like Harold Perkins, Jacoby Matthews, with guys like Jordan Allen. And you had, obviously, LaTerrence Welsh was on campus with those guys. So, a lot of high-impact guys. But as Billy said, you also had a chance to get a bunch of juniors on campus, too, which I think is very be instrumental for Frank Wilson and Brian Kelly to begin to build these relationships and start to build the trust that all these guys are looking for before they make their decision on the next level and where they'll end up. So, sounds like it was a stellar recruiting weekend for LSU football as they had a lot of guys on campus that they had a chance to talk to.
When did they make their final decision? Like, how long do they have?
Wednesday will be there.
This Wednesday?
This Wednesday.
It?
The second, right? Isn't it February 2nd? Or for
Yeah, it'll be
not?
it'll be
Second.
yeah, it'll be a second.
What's that?
They have from February 1st or February 1st to like April 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this will
You
be
get like a commitment on the second.
Yeah,
like,
this will
it's
be
like
the-
Nash- This
the-
you used back in the day. This was the biggest day of the year. Like old recruiting stuff was. This is why I made myself get a laptop and bring it to high school. I was like, oh, I'm going to take notes.
this?
It's like, absolutely for recruiting. It used to be
Yeah.
the biggest thing going.
Why is it not anymore? Like, what?
Because they have the
changed?
early signing period, so
Okay.
it's not the same. It used
That
to be
changed
like
it all.
wedding day. Like this is where everything's going down. It was a
Oh, it was Christmas.
can't miss. Yes.
It was Christmas morning. I mean, they used to have what they called the recruiting bash. It started in the PMAC. It actually started in the PMAC. And then they moved it downtown to what was formerly Catfish Town. Now it's the Atrium.
Oh, okay.
And it
It would have been on this weekend.
It would have been this Wednesday.
Oh, they do it on the Wednesday.
And they
each
do it
time.
on the actual signing day, and people would take off of work,
Absolutely.
and people would be lined up at the building to get into the atrium before sunrise. And
It was a football game.
When people would when the doors would open, people would break through almost like a
Like Black Friday.
like a Black Friday, like a Black Friday, and they would be going to get the top spots. They'd be going to get tables. They'd be going to get their seat for the
Bud
day.
Lights at 9 a.m.
And it was all you could drink. It was
Really?
food. Food would come in from vendors across town. Mockler would have a truck there where they have
Let's bring it
kegs.
back.
Why don't
on
they
tap.
do it anymore?
Because you just don't have the interest now because a lot of these guys are signed
Yeah.
by Wednesday, right? I mean, like a lot of it was because this
Shefters
was
of the world
this
out
was
there
na-
breaking news.
Yeah, this was National Signing Day. This was National Signing Day that for everybody.
Yeah.
So it would come down to this Wednesday where like Quincy would sign this Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know, like Walker Howard
Oh,
would sign this
yeah.
Wednesday.
so
I mean, like
intense.
it was so it was awesome though. I mean, it
kinda
was
sucks
some
that they
of the
changed it.
funnest days. And that was like we were young in radio at that time, and like Jimmy Ott would be
Heading that thing
I
up,
mean,
holding court.
They would be set up like you would go set up the night before, like his radio booth. You'd go set it up almost the night before.
It's almost like SEC Media Day, like where you go get your spot, get ready, get linked, like get locked in.
Yeah.
And for the fans, it was like Alabama's spring game where they open up the gates and people just
Yes.
pour in,
Yeah.
and it's just a free for all.
And then like the
There's
coaching staff would come
Show
in at the end of the day.
so many things could go wrong.
They would come in at the end of the day and kind of like recap the class. Like they would like
Yeah.
talk to you about the class.
That's so cool.
And it was amazing,
free-for-all.
dude. It was.
We should bring it back.
Well, I don't.
The
I don't know
product
if you
isn't the
can.
same.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
watered down. I mean, it's not. I don't know if you can. You can never recapture what you had because now it's split up into two. First off, and you know, I mean, like the funnest part about the days would be like if you ever got like what Jordan Allen was describing to Billy Embody where he is truly going to be a surprise on signing day. Like nobody within the industry has any idea because the kid's telling you he really kind of doesn't know right now. I mean, he's taking a couple of last-minute visits. It sounds like Bama's making a big push for him here late. I mean, did you hear what Billy just said? I mean, so
get out of here.
He's going to make a national signing day choice where everybody in this room
Will be glued.
doesn't know where he's going. There's a 60-foot projector screen that's viewing out into the room where, throughout the day, it's a lot of drinking, it's a lot of storytelling, it's a lot of laughing. But if somebody comes on this screen and is announcing that they're between LSU, Alabama, and Florida and nobody knows where it's going, you can hear a pin drop in the place. Like everybody is like locked in. And if he chooses LSU, I mean, it's a touchdown in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
It is. The place goes
bananas.
I'm
nuts.
So bummed that we don't have it.
Beer
anymore.
goes in the air. People are hugging. People are laughing. People are high-fiving.
And you have the coach come on the stage like, look what we did. And it's like unbelievable.
It was awesome, man. It was awesome. But the death of the bash was the National Signing Day being split in two. I mean, it was really, you just couldn't capture that moment and that feeling.
Made for TV moment.
Oh, it was incredible, man. It was incredible. I mean, it was one of the best events.
It really is.
Around.
I really
it was one of the best events of the the early season. You know what I mean? Like in February, it was kind of like a kickoff to football season. It was. I mean, like in a couple of weeks you'll be in spring, and there was usually like a basketball game that night. So like you would like party all day. You'd leave there, go to the basketball game that night. I mean, it was a great
Y'all selling beer in here or what?
Yeah, right. All right, let's see here. Neil DiBenedetto, Bayou Bash was the best excuse to get off of work for the day. I'm telling you. I mean, the amount of people that they would have 15,000. I'm not good at that. But it was the atrium downtown.
Yeah.
Was packed. I mean, it was packed. The parking was an issue. There was no place. I mean, there was no place to sit in there if you got in there after 10:30 a.m. I mean, it was awesome, man. Louis Carra, recruiting bash was the bomb. Doug Ashton, the fax machine was on the big screen. Doug Ashton, it actually started in the field house. Brian Burgess, those old recruiting bashes are missed. They were great. Hayden Paris, Will Wade is a bad in-game coach.
Oh, God, Hayden Paris from the clouds.
That's not a comment that we should be reading.
Here, bro. I see Hayden comparing Will Wade to Les Miles. He wants me to dive in. He wants me to bite the hook.
He's setting that hook
He
for you.
wants me to jump on it, man.
He was the guy in our Instagram bashing on our Jamar and Jody.
No way.
Yeah, he was the Hayden. I know
Sweet.
it
Old
was.
pair
I
in
know
there.
it's the
Later,
same
bro.
Hayden.
Appreciate you. Thank you for
Why
the
are you so
engagement.
mad at us, Hayden?
It's Monday, dude.
I'm just so mad in general.
Just so
man.
mad.
Rico Delgado,
live
my
your
favorite
life.
recruiting batch is when Joe McKnight chose USC. I remember Ruben Randall being a huge story. I remember
Ryan Perlew, Russell Shepard. That's when I was
Russell Shepard was a big story.
Yeah, that's my prime.
Ryan Perlew was big, obviously. They picked up a defensive end. Was it Sam Montgomery was big out of South Carolina that they got late in the process.
Then
that
had a
when
huge game against South Carolina.
That when his fax came in, it was like the bash shut down.
You emceed parts of it?
I introduced Ogeron at the last bash that they did, like
I wonder how that would go now.
in the atrium. Which part, the bash or me introducing
You
Ogeron?
introducing O.
Introducing O.
He might rush me. He could rush me.
He could.
Yeah.
Box run.
Take down.
You'd be fine. You got class. You'd be fine.
Oof.
If he got you on the ground though, that's
It's
tough.
over.
Yeah, it's over.
It's
You
over.
got to.
I'd have to make him miss in the first in his first plunge. You know what
And
I
you
mean?
got him.
Because he would crash at me like a linebacker in the open field, and as long as I could
can't
make
even
him
imagine
miss,
You're good.
I mean, at some point he's got to turn 70, right? I mean, like 60.
We'll whoop your ass.
Yeah, right. Like I mean,
Oh my god.
I mean, as soon as he starts
Those look a
sucking
long
wind,
life.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, who knows?
I cannot imagine.
I mean, 15 million in the bank. I'm on some really good growth hormone.
And a tan.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want some Nick Saban make me look 30 again growth
I
hormone.
think O's old school though. I don't think he even wants any of that newfangled medicine.
dude.
But once you
No.
get it, I don't know.
Dude.
Look better.
I don't know if I said no to a lot, bro. You know what I mean? Fuck it, I'll do it.
Can't do everything once.
Line starts behind me.
Before me.
Man,
In front
maybe.
of me.
Tom Grading, River Center was huge for the Bash. It was. I thought that it almost was too big, though, Tom.
Yeah.
I thought that the Bash, when it moved into the River Center, it almost lost a little bit of its charm because it was too spaced out.
Why did
You
it
almost
never go
had
to the
too many
PMAC?
places to go. At Catfish Town, at the atrium,
Catfish Town.
you were
I
so.
think that was before I lived here.
It was. I think in the 80s it was Catfish Town.
What do you want to name it? Catfish Town.
Why not?
Anybody?
It's right on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
You know?
Grow 'em here.
So weird.
Why don't we do it at Catfish Town? Sold.
Why not the PMAC? That seems like a logical choice.
Because you
Basketball.
started because you started to run into some like hairy compliance on campus. Are we fundraising? Or where does this money go?
Taft needs to step in.
It was kind of the Gridiron Club was behind it with like their it was very
Just
gray.
sketchy, yes.
It was very gray. I mean, like, I know that there was compliance officials who just had they would walk in there with like paperwork, like looking through, like, this isn't good. This isn't gonna work. I mean, like, where's all this money going? And they're like, well, we donated it back to the program. What do you mean?
Stop asking questions.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's having a
You
good
got
time.
Ryan Perrilloux today. Shut up.
You think he's gonna win the Heisman
God's
today?
sakes.
Sure, Marcus Russell and Ron Perrilloux on the same campus, and Ron Perrilloux thought he was gonna start day one. It's unbelievable.
Ugh.
Love him though.
Yeah. Les Miles made the no chess comment about
Gunnar Kiel ruined
Gunnar
his
Kiel?
life probably.
Gunnar Kiel.
Wait, what is that?
So he went to the Bash, and Gunnar Kiel was supposed to be this hotshot 5-star recruit that's going to go to LSU, and he spurned LSU to Notre Dame.
Decommitted, and it was actually the signing day after LSU had flubbed the national championship game against Alabama.
What year is this?
So this is 2012.
12.
Okay.
2012.
When doesn't Zach Lee come into the picture?
And it
at
was
some
one
point?
of the first public appearances Les had made since the game.
I wonder where he was.
Yeah, and people were like, you could feel it starting to turn on Les. You know what I mean? Even from like the day oneers of he's a good guy.
They're still out
He's
there.
a family guy. He's organized. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I don't know, bro.
I don't know what.
I don't know. He's starting to crack.
Well, he passed the buck to an 18-year-old. He goes, well, I just don't think he had the chest to come to LSU.
Yeah,
and everybody
so
loved
who did
it.
he say that to? Okay, so he says
Gunnar
that about
Kiel.
that recruit.
Because
He doesn't
Gunnar
have the
Kiel
chest.
on National Signing Day says, I'm going to LSU. I'm going to LSU. I'm going to LSU. Signing day hits.
Turncoat.
And he signs with Notre Dame. Right? And so people are like, Coach, what happened with Kiel? What was going on with Gunnar? And he's like, and he makes some stupid Les Miles, like, I guess he just didn't have the chest.
Didn't seem
What
like
does that
Gunnar had
mean?
the chest to play for LSU and represent
Exactly.
the state of Louisiana.
What does that
Exactly.
even
Yeah,
mean?
it
What
doesn't
does that mean?
matter.
You don't have
People
the
ate it
chest?
up.
Exactly.
Is
People,
that a thing?
yeah! Like, what?
Wait, what?
For celebrating not getting a 5-star because Les said he didn't have the chest to come here whenever everybody and their mother wanted Gunnar Kiel at LSU.
I mean,
That is so odd. I've
you
never
couldn't get a
heard
quarterback
that.
to save your life. I mean, it was smart for the Keels at the time to be like, don't go down there to like quarterback graveyard. I mean, he's got his friend Cam Cameron doing the guy. You don't even know what he's doing down there.
Having a good old boys meeting at the Catfish Club.
Zach Lee was
Fish Club.
He went
10,
10.
2010.
Needed him.
Who was in that class? The kid from Tupelo, Mississippi, Chris Garrett.
Good pull.
Because they recruited, that was the year you recruit two different styles of quarterback.
Yeah,
like they didn't know who they wanted to be.
It wasn't Russell Shepard too.
It was Russell Shepard.
It was.
It was
Yes.
Russell Shepard and it was Chris Garrett. They recruited two quarterbacks that year, and Shepard was the multi-purpose dual threat #1 dual threat quarterback in the country, and Chris Garrett was like this pocket style, pro style, Jarrett Lee type guy where you were like, well, what do you tell these guys in recruiting? Like,
Right.
what are you saying to these guys where you're like, no, that sounds good. That's why I'm a fit. You know, and like you go to another quarterback who's totally different and sell a totally and completely different message. Now, I know Shepard didn't play quarterback at LSU, but I mean, it was just a sign of the times of how
It goes to show how much monkey dust Les was throwing around that he just had everybody
He
fooled.
just
It's
wanted
like,
players.
Yeah, it's like come play
just
here.
wanted players, man. I mean, just save my life, save my job.
Yeah,
So the coaches would be there having to comment like before and
that's
after
what had to go
these
good.
kids would
It had to go well.
That's
Wait,
a lot
say
of
it again?
pressure. Like during the thing at the Catfish Town,
Uh-huh.
the coaches would all be there having to comment before and after. Like,
Well, they would go there at the end of the day and just kind of recap the class,
Okay.
right? And Les would just go down and like read their bio. You know what I mean? Like it should have been like 15 minutes door to door. You know what I
can't help
mean?
himself.
Like today we picked up a wide receiver named Chris Hilton out of Zachary. Guy's a speedster. He's a track guy too. He can fly. Caught the game winner in the state championship.
Dad ran
We also
track.
got Malik Neighbors. He would be like, Chris Hilton was born in Zachary in 1994 to parents.
Sports information was working
Chris
overtime.
Hilton. Chris, his father, was a world-class hurdler in his days at LSU. He graduated 8th grade in 2000, and people are like, Jesus Christ. I mean, read the room, you friggin' moron.
These people are ready to pop, and you want to read them a book.
I mean,
Russell Shepard was the reason I got the laptop. That was the year 2009.
that is so funny.
Just to watch recruiting on Tiger droppings, I was like, "This is the most this is imperative that we
It was
know
a
this
great day.
information." I was breaking news in the during recess,
it was a great day.
like during first break. I was like, "We got it, boys. We're in."
No doubt.
What do you do? And then I would have teachers walk
Got Joe
behind me.
McKnight minus 120 if anybody wants some
Yeah,
action.
you want some lunch cards over here?
Teach, you in? You out? What's the deal?
Dude, I did have teachers.
Little
walk
math?
I bet you did.
I had teachers walk behind me, and they would be like, "What's the deal over here? How are we looking with Russell?" I was like, "Give me 1 second. I'm updating."
That is
And so
awesome.
it was just that's how LSU football is, though. Recruiting back then, that's the lifeblood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so nobody cared that I was on the laptop
Right.
and on the
No
internet.
doubt,
They were
no
like,
doubt.
"Give me the news, dude.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Put it on the big screen. Let's go."
So what will happen this Wednesday? What will this Wednesday be like?
Well, it's going to be high drama because of Jacoby Matthews, Harold Perkins, Trevante Citizen alone for LSU, and LSU is in the mix with all three of those guys. So there's like this,
That 5 for 5
like
feeling.
this building intrigue, where you're like, oh my God, they're going to get all these guys, they're going to get all these players.
Oh, no. I feel it happening again.
And then sometimes you get them, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're let down. I mean, like the Leonard Fournette season was the biggest recruiting, probably like
Ever.
Yeah, I
just
bet.
emotional pull to recruiting because it wasn't just Lenny. I mean, Lenny was the headliner and he was the can't miss. But that class was so stupidly talented. Like, not only did you have Lenny, you had Cameron Robinson, who was the number one offensive tackle in the country, was in West Monroe. You had a
Hootie.
top-notch safety in Hootie Jones, who was at Neville in that same class. Speedy Noyle was a top wide receiver down at Edna Carr, who was playing quarterback at the time.
Gerald Willis.
Leonard was Leonard. Gerald Willis was a defensive tackle who was Landon Collins' brother. You know what I mean? Like, Landon Collins' mom was the one on national TV that day when he picked the Alabama helmet. She put the LSU gloves
Yeah,
on.
I remember.
And she was like, pissed off because she wanted him to go to LSU.
Walked off the set.
Who else? There were more. I mean,
Well,
Trey Turner was in that class.
And that's the Jamal Adams year, right?
Jamal
Whenever
Adams
you,
was in
you
that
miss
class.
On Hootie
you miss
and
on Hootie, and you're able to land Jamal. You upgrade. You get the number 4 pick in the draft. You get the 5th pick in the draft.
You're still tweeting about LSU. Prez.
That and so it was a big, like, LSU was going to go 5 for 5.
Yeah.
Like, they were going to hit all 5 of these guys, and like
On good authority, too.
people who cover recruiting were like putting their Adam Schefter. This is the Adam Schefter, where you're like putting your nuts on the line saying LSU's going to sign all 5 guys. So it'd be like we would have Shea on, we would have Billy on. At the time, Derek Panamsky, who I was doing radio with, his kind of his brand was recruiting. Like, that was who he was, and it was actually before we were in radio together. He was with Hannah Griff and Ott doing the lunchtime show at the time, and he was telling everybody during the day, like, they are getting 5 for 5. They're getting all of them. They're getting all of them. And even like people were like starting to buy in, and
Everybody was bought in.
it was a slow death. It was
It
just
turned into a trickle of 0 for 5.
it turned it, and then like Leonard, who really was the golden goose. He was the one that you had to have. It was even a little not a letdown, but it just wasn't as big of a
Pop.
as a
Crescendo.
celebration as it could have been when he announced he was going to LSU, because just the day of emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, you miss on Gerald Willis, you miss on Cam Robinson, you miss on
Speedy,
you miss on Speedy, you miss
on Hootie.
I mean, and they were able really to because Malachi Dupree was in that class. They got Malachi.
Jamal.
Who was the other wide? There was 2 wide receivers in that class that they got. Was there another wide receiver with Malachi that they got in that class? Who? Not DJ.
No, Chark was later.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
What if I came out with it and knew it? I don't.
That'd be great. It'd be a great pool.
It would?
I don't.
It was
DJ
DJ
Chark. He was there for that long? Ash guy.
Wow.
I just remember the Russell Gage.
Russell Gage was a 25th scholarship.
Good ad.
Yeah.
NFL guy.
Yeah.
Can we recreate Catfish Town here on Wednesday and just do it?
We could try.
We could
That
try
would
it.
be fun.
Yeah, we could try it.
It just doesn't have the same juice because you would
Doesn't have
have.
the pop,
Of course
man.
not. Yeah.
There's not enough players
But
out
I mean,
there.
we could try.
Yeah.
We could do something.
And then when Leonard
Trey
goes,
Quinn.
Trey
Quinn was in that class. That's who the other wide receiver was. That's who it was. Trey Quinn.
It's just gonna start. Put him out there. Just
How
roll
good would
him
he
out
be in
there.
this offense? Think about him in 2019.
I mean, Bill Belichick should probably give him a call. Still in shape.
Where's he at?
Where is? Yeah. That's
He's out. He's out the
He was in
league.
Jacksonville.
He
on a
got.
practice
He was
squad.
Mr. He was Mr.
Oh.
Irrelevant. He
Yeah,
got drafted by the football
and
team.
he had a really good
rookie
run
year.
with Washington.
Yeah.
Like, he was returning punts.
So what
One
happened?
drop against Alabama ruined him at LSU. Made him transfer to SMU. He got LSU went LSU. Death threats. The whole 9.
Louis Caro, Culotta and the Prince was a great show. No slap to anyone face on that show. What? Rico Delgado Panamsky told me one time Dylan Moses is going to LSU and he's going to wear number 7. He ended up at Bama and wore 32. Hayden Paris, the University of the Boot was Leonard Fournette's provocation.
Yes.
Did he say the University of Boot, or did he say Louis? Did he say University of LSU?
That boot baby.
Yeah, that's right.
But that was one of the probably the sentence that everybody hung on to because Alabama was in the mix. So he said University of.
Okay.
And every LSU fan was going,
I
oh
bet.
no,
Yeah.
you can't lose Leonard to
If
Alabama.
he lost, yes, and that was a big push the night before.
Oh, I bet.
Big,
Nick Saban.
big push. Heavy bag push. JP Lloyd, do you ever let Jordy finish his sentence without talking over him?
Absolutely not, dude.
Trey Quinn was from Lake Charles, not from Texas.
Yeah, went to Barb.
Louis Caro, Dupree was disappointing. Dupree should have come back for his senior year. If you remember the Louisville game, the Citrus Bowl he had against Louisville, he had the one-handed catch, but I think he had like 8 grabs that day where he was really set up. And that would have been 18 that he came back. First year of Joey B.
We had this conversation on the live
Who was the
stream.
primary target that year? Was it DJ? Was DJ Chark the
And he was going to leave if he doesn't get the reverse in the Alamo Bowl.
No. DJ returned the punt against Auburn at home in 2017, and that was his senior year. Then in 2018, Burrow and them pack up, and Cole Tracy makes the kick. Who was the top wide receiver on that team? Because I remember our guy, Justin Jefferson was the top wide receiver.
But who made the catch, and then he got hurt. No, it was he goes over the middle. Remember the third down play where Burrow didn't really see the linebacker, but he gets him. He scores the touchdown.
Yeah, that's
Derek Dillon. He was a primary weapon at that point, kind of in a Dre Jenkins role.
Yeah,
same vibe.
Yeah, they had a bunch of receivers, but not like a dude.
No,
on that team. Jamar was a rookie. He was a freshman, and he caught.
Justin.
Did he catch a touchdown against Miami? And then he didn't catch another touchdown, I want to say, until like Central Florida. Jamar did his freshman season. But it wasn't D. Anderson.
Sullivan?
Stephon Sullivan?
Who got the reverse from Canada?
Stephon Sullivan.
On fourth down against Auburn.
Jet
Guts
sweep,
on the line.
man.
I'm calling my play. Going to my bread and butter. Because him and O are at odds.
And they stretched it out.
Yes.
Like they put it to the sideline and he just cut it up right before the pylon.
That's what Tyreek Hill should have done. Eli Apple's still on Twitter, so is his mom. It's getting seedy over there.
Really? Gosh. Eli, put it down, man.
What is the
Put
deal?
it down. He made the play of the game. Then he could have been the hero of the game if he catches that pick six.
One, yeah.
But the play he made before half is probably the play of the game, right?
Absolutely, it turned the game around.
Turned the whole game around when Kansas City did not score going into half. And Eli Apple shoves he shoves McKinney.
It was Tyreek Hill.
Was it Tyreek Hill on the wide receiver screen?
Yeah. And then now Tyreek Hill and Eli Apple are throwing Twitter hands at each other, and Tyreek said, "Meet me for real." And then he goes, "Well, I'll meet you at the Super Bowl. Here's 2 tickets if you want them."
That's awesome.
That's cool.
I love Tyreek Hill. I feel like I shouldn't. I
No,
feel
you
like he's
shouldn't.
done some bad things
Yeah, but he's an
that I
electric
shouldn't like.
athlete.
But man, I love watching him. He's good. I
I
like
think he could
him.
have beat him to the corner if he didn't stop.
I thought so too. He kind of overthought it.
He was about to just put him on skates.
Yeah. Eli was, whoa.
Please turn around.
Please fall.
Please run right into me.
All right, please have a good day.
Happy Monday.
Hit the like and share button. The weather has been gorgeous.
Yeah.
Let's go. Catfish down
It's
weather.
gonna. It is catfish down weather.
Was
It's
Jonathan
gonna drop
Giles on that
again
team?
later though.
Was Jonathan Giles on the 18 team?
Yeah.
Oh, poor
7.
Poor guy.
Poor bastard.
God damn, man. Poor guy.
He looked good too. Just never really got it going.
Yeah, he could never get it going. Another slip on Italian evaluation, right? I mean,
I don't know if it's talent, but the way that they propped him up was not fair to him. He's like, Jonathan Giles is 7. He's the most electric guy we have
he's
in
like,
camp.
you know what? Take this number back and I quit.
I quit.
I'm out.
I'm transferring.
Forget this place, bro.
I don't know what kind of bills y'all are selling over here.
All right, have a great day. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that comment button. Mikey back with you at 11 a.m. for Mic'd Up today. He will be back for his show, so if you're not subscribed to Mic'd Up, make sure you hit that and get that subscription. Tomorrow, LSU will play Ole Miss. We'll talk to Willie Wade here on game day, get set up for the Tigers and Rebels. Another late tip-off over at the Maravich Center.
That's Wednesday. Wait,
That's tomorrow night.
when does women's play?
Women's plays
Oxford?
Thursday. Oh, no, next
Wednesday.
Monday. Next
Oh,
Monday.
I
They're
thought they were
off
off
this
week
week.
too.
They're off this
Okay.
week. They're off this week.
Okay.
Who's LSU play?
Ole Miss
This is the
tomorrow night.
stretch.
Yeah, this is the stretch. They got to get it right. They got to get it
Marshall
right.
Henderson ain't walking through that door.
Logan Bresnia, Lloyd, figure out the Spotify today.
I will. That's my mission for today. Big day on Monday, so we got mic'd up. Like you said, subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe.
Hayden Parrish should have consulted Jordy for the talent evaluation. They should have, Hayden.
Yeah.
I've been calling you a bum since day one. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. Hit that like and share.
Later, pair.